Beautiful from New York. The NYXL picking up a team kill here.
And it looks like London Spitfire will be able to take control once again.
Libero finds his third kill on the fight. NYXL, they have a ton of talent. Prophet going for the hack and slash. It's a real horror show. Jonak hitting the volley. Jonak still alive.
Some of the best Overwatch you will ever see on both sides.
Yeah, baby, it's Friday, and the third day of our second stage here at the Overwatch League. And real talk, it is getting ready to be a crazy day. We got some fan favorites returning to the lineup. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Anybody? There's a couple Dallas Fuel fans out there who are pretty hyped about it. Also, we got some heavy hitter matches going down today, including a rematch of our Stage 1 finals between NYXL and the London Spitfire. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty charged up. So let's not waste any more time and send it over to Puckett at the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. Keep making some noise here in the Blizzard Arena. It's Friday night, and we are kicking off your week in the right way. This is the Overwatch League regular season, and if you're just joining us, we finished our first 40 matches in Stage 1. Now we're on to Stage 2, and if we look at our league standings, you're going to notice some new names moving around. We're going to get to the standings in a moment, but first, I have to introduce the rest of the desk. Please make some noise. We got Zoe, our insider, at the end, Reinforce in the middle, and right next to me, we have our very own Punch Boy. Sideshow's broken.
I am broken into little pieces.
I like it, though. How you feeling?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm waiting for people to use this and as a green screen and all sorts of things. I'm sure.
There it is.
The wrong way around. I guess I've got to do that.
You'll figure it out by the end of the show, I'm sure of it. Yes, please keep the green screen images coming on Twitter all day long. We love it here at the desk. But let's catch you up with the global standings here for the Overwatch League. At the very top, you're going to see a familiar name from Stage 1. It's the New York Excel. They're the first team to get to 10 wins. Right behind them, though, it's Houston and Seoul with 8 wins apiece, and then a big group there with 7 wins. But we got to remind everyone at home, this is Stage 2. This is a fresh start. And if you look at the standings, there's some surprises in this list, Johnny.
Yes, I'm looking out for Philadelphia Fusion coming off a big win yesterday versus the Boston Uprising. EQO, put that name on your head because this guy, 18 years old, he was flashy yesterday. He pretty much carried them together with Carpe for a solid 4-0 win yesterday. So look out for Philadelphia Fusion. I think they can make the playoffs this stage.
You also notice Valiant is at the very bottom of the list, and London is in 7th here for Stage 2. It's time to make up some ground, and we're going to get a chance to see London with the opportunity versus New York in our first matchup. A little bit later, it's Dallas versus the Gladiators, and we close it out with the Shock versus the Dynasty. But it's time to start this party. Are you guys ready? Make some noise, and welcome to the stage, the London Spitfire. The Stage 1 champions were able to pull off the reverse sweep in that grand finals match against New York. Let's talk a little bit about how they were able to do it, Sideshow.
Yeah, it really was tight for them. They went 0-2 down, but I think one of the guys that really stepped up was Badoshin on that Zenyatta, was able to have a better performance than Jonak. And then you can't talk about that finals run without mentioning Prophet and Birdring. These guys went nuts. Prophet whipping out the Junkrat was so good on the defense, and then Birdring had a superstar level performance in that finals particularly to carry them through the last 3 maps.
Yeah, but they did lose to Houston Outlaws, of course, so they have a bit of an inconsistency issue going forwards in Stage 2. I mean, in Stage 1, they were the team who we pretty much expected to drop out of the top 3 out of any of our most dominant teams. So going into Stage 2, they need to show some consistency and actually prove that they can be a #1 team in our league.
And so I feel like the more we watch the squad, the more fans they're gaining. Very likable personalities. Keep your eyes on guys like Jester and Wu Y'all throughout the series. Who are you watching out for?
For me, it's probably going to be Prophet. He has voiced that he was not very happy in Stage 1. He said he made a lot of mistakes and wants to improve in Stage 2. So I'm having my eyes on this guy.
Prophet's got to have a big game today because they're going up against the #1 seed. Let's welcome them to the stage. It's the New York XL. The big boss leading the charge here for the XL today. A lot of people excited to see his McCree back in action. But when you look at this New York squad, they fell short of their goals in Stage 1. They started things off right, though, in Stage 2. A win over Florida. but they did it without a key member. Arc was missing, and they had to make some major composition swaps.
They did. Arc was out with a wrist injury yesterday, and it doesn't look like he's back today, but up until a few hours ago, they still considered putting him in. However, as a certain someone on this desk can attest to, wrist injuries don't disappear overnight.
Yeah,
right, Sideshow?
yeah, they don't. All I'm saying is, me, Ark, and Jeff should not have arm wrestled, because you wrestle with Jeff, you get the death.
I've seen it before. All right. We should give a shout out to Mono. Mono was the main tank who switched over to take that position on the heels. Meko getting the eyes ready for the game. Johnny, who's got the most pressure knowing that Arc's out for back-to-back matches?
Well, it has to be Mono, right? I mean, it's Lucio, so we'll see how he manages to speed boost his team to victory, of course. And I mean, when you have such good teamwork as New York Excelsior, I think providing the sound barriers isn't going to be a huge issue for them overall. But I mean, there is some skill discrepancy between a main tank and a main support. So Mono here, he has to step up for his team.
Yes, and I think perhaps what they might miss most of all is the calling that Arc was able to do, because they did look a little bit scrappy yesterday when they were playing against Florida Mayhem. That game was really close, even though the scoreline was 3-1. So they've got some stepping up to do to match London Spitfire, I think, here.
New York has already picked up a big match win to kick off Stage 2. London fell to Houston yesterday, and Zoe, I know you got a chance to talk to the teams. How is London feeling coming into this matchup?
I mean, generally, not just this matchup. It's got to be like the whole Stage 2. They're very eager to show that they're a really, really top team. I mean, again, they won that Stage 1 title match. However, something they mentioned in an interview with Invent Global was that they are looking to create a big gap between their team and every other team in the league. But so far, the start didn't look too promising.
Yeah, that's pretty ambitious as well. For a team that had to do a reverse sweep to get to #1, and now they're just assuming that they're already on top and want to create a gap, that is ambitious.
Johnny, I want to start with you right here. London says they want to create a gap between themselves and the rest of the 11 teams in the Overwatch League. Are they even the best team right now? They just lost yesterday.
I'm not so sure, actually, because they've had some problems adapting to the current meta. I mean, yesterday they lost the key maps versus the Houston Outlaws, of course, when they couldn't adapt on King's Row, for example. They didn't play the Reinhardt and Zarya compositions. They couldn't adapt on the new control maps. For example, Nepal Sanctum is a map where you want to play the Orisa and the Junkrat, and London Spitfire came in a bit unprepared. So it depends on how they adjust to the current meta, but I'm not so sure, actually, that they are the #1 team in the league right now.
The thing is, they have so much depth in their team that they can, I think they'll be able to adjust in to the meta, and they have so many phenomenal players that I think no matter where we go, London Spitfire is still going to be one of the best teams, if not the best.
London has so much depth. For New York, though, you're playing without Arc. Mono is most likely to play Lucio. Who is the player that needs to step up the most? Because the Lucio can only do so much.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Sabiobi. I think this guy has to have a monster performance. His style is just to shut down enemy DPS, and if he can take Birdring and Profit out of the game and allow like his tanks to have a good performance, I think he's the key playmaker to me.
I want to get a pulse on the crowd here. Who is cheering on the London Spitfire in our first matchup? All right, we got some noise. Who's cheering on Sabiobi in the New York XL? New York with the bigger fan base in the house today. It's time to get this party started as we send it backstage. It's Summer and Hex on the mic.
Thank you so much, Puckett. And yeah, New York fans, I mean, we are in North America after all. Brits, get back across the pond. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. Get out. We took this place. All right, Hex, this is going to be one of the big monster matchups, though, here in Stage 2 to kick things off after the Stage 1 playoffs and how close it was there.
Last 2 times these teams met, it went to 5 both times. So we're in for a treat of Overwatch today. Hopefully a lot of maps of Overwatch. That is going to be our map set. Of course, we're in a new meta, so we're going to have to see how everything adapts. Neither of these teams are really necessarily at full strength. Of course, Arc's still missing right now. So Volskaya should be interesting. We saw a lot of Sombra yesterday, but I mean, this is a flip a coin kind of match. Pick them. I mean, London took it in the playoffs, but before that, New York took them. Both these teams are not necessarily playing crisp. I mean, there's still some sloppy Overwatch, but like they've got the mechanics to drive through. I think New York should have the advantage on control maps, particularly though.
It's going to be interesting. You know, Arc is a big deal here. You know, if you lose part of that controlling brain, that mind, things can get a little sloppy when you don't have the usual guy calling the shots for you. You know, you have to shift around. And the same could be said perhaps for London. You know, they've had to actually trade away. They made the choice to trade away a couple of their players as well. That can kind of mess with the structure that they developed in Stage 1. And so these teams, you know, here at the beginning of Stage 2, they're still figuring it out like everybody else. Myself, however, I think I'm going to go with London on this one, Hex. I think I'm going to go with London. I know the Brits, all that, but London right now, you know, I think the lack of an in-game leader or perhaps partial in-game leader is going to impact New York more than it will London.
That's fair. The counterpoint I would say is I think that London should be running Badoshin rather than Hago right now. I thought
I'm a Badoshin fan too. I can get behind that.
He was an all-star there. I mean, Hago's a great player, but I think Badoshin was just coming into his own. And fine, man. If you want to make it like that, I'm going to go New York because my boy Pine is going to be popping off.
Oh, I mean, well, he's got the Widow as well already to kick things off. So that's a good sign because the man is definitely mechanically sound. He knows how to hit the headshots. He always puts on a show.
Overall, I'm just rooting for 5 maps. I just want bonus Overwatch.
Yeah, between the two of the best, it's always going to be good. I mean, yesterday, London, they put up one hell of a fight versus the Houston Outlaws. Real joy to see Houston step up as well to the plate.
Kind of interesting that London said they want to make a gap between them and the other 11 teams. You have to catch New York first. You have to be at the top before you start putting a gap, and New York definitely has the better record overall as we kick it off here on Volskaya Industries. Neither team running a Sombra, different strategies going forward, and we will have the epic Widow v Widow between Birdring and Pine.
Yeah, no shock there. Already a shot attempt coming through here from Birdring. Gonna get there with his mates. He wants to get behind his tanks, allow them to create the space to allow him to work. And already getting onto that high ground now, just waiting for the angle. In the meantime, Pine on the other side of things, he's changing it up, trying to find the shot, and he could actually catch Birdring off guard here if Birdring were to hang around in that doorway, but Pine just a second too late.
Both these Widows playing a little bit of mind games. You would expect Birdring to pop up behind his tanks in that doorway up there, this doorway. Instead, he went low ground. They both want to trick the other person. Neither can see through walls just yet, so it's going to be very, very close on who gets the first shot off.
Whoa. 2 HP, and then Prophet, he still hangs around, shows no fear, counts on his healers to get him top back up again, and now he's found his target. He's hot on Pine's heels, Pine trying to get out of here, but Pine calling for reinforcements, gonna get his tanks to peel for him. In the meantime, Mono has brought Jonak back into the fight.
That's really important. Jonak going down to his counterpart early was a really bad sign for NYXL. They're gonna brawl into the corner over here. Both Zens now out of this mix as they continue to trade. Trades will always favor the offense, and headshots will also favor the offense as Birdring takes down Sapiobi.
Yeah, Meko trying to do the best that he can here to stop the bleeding, but it's not gonna happen. Birdring, superior angle, superior lines of fire. He could really just sit back and turn it into a duck hunt, like you say, Hex. And well, that's definitely gonna favor his team. London Spitfire with a very quick take on the A site, and they still have the infrared here from Birdring to get to see through walls.
All right, Pine is gonna go over to a Genji to try to deal with Birdring. Apparently doesn't feel he's gonna win the battle, especially not gonna feel the battle when the ultimate is up. The infra sight allows you to see through walls. Now his entire team can see where the other team is. Definitely a huge Widow advantage. We'll see what Pine can get done on the Genji. We mostly consider him a hit scan specialist.
Oh yeah, that's right, the crowd reacting to that one. You can definitely see it happening. But it wasn't meant to be. Instead, Mono wins the duel versus Birdring. How does that work?
Well, you know, Valkyrie Mercy pretty good, flying around with the pistol, doing all that damage, able to take down the big threat right there. Birdring wanted to go off Widow anyway. He's going to go to Reaper. So right now, I think one more kill for New York should send London packing all the way back, but we'll see. That should be it. I don't think they're going to invest much into this.
Dude, Pine is doing a fantastic job right now generating his ult as well. He's nearly got the Dragon Blade, and he's only just swapped the Genji. And there we go, has the ult. Gonna be able to back off here. His teammate's gonna be able to keep him alive. Well, they're looking for the stagger, but it looks like London Spitfire were able to get out of dodge quick enough.
Able to back out there without losing much. Pine does have his Dragon Blade ready. Birdring had just switched to the Reaper. I think it's a good switch on most Assault last maps here. So it's going to be that ground and pound kind of style. He's going to roll in with both tanks. They did use Sound Barrier last fight. They would love to have that with the Reaper here. He can be very vulnerable when he gets in those situations.
Kind of keeping an eye on this over map right now. Pine, you can see him kind of crouched in the corner, waiting for them to commit, waiting for London Spitfire to start making their press, making their play. He's going to get into that back line and hack him to bits. And here we go. Sure enough, Perfect, they offered them up to him. Last place you want to be with a Genji swinging a blade in your face. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. 2 big kills there to snuff the offense.
Close quarters fighting now where you want to be against a man with a sword. They will get a couple of kills from the self-destruct, but it's not going to be enough. Offenses need to ace this point. All Assault last points have to go in favor of the offense from beginning to end to be able to crush it through. And I think this is the correct switch from Birdring. He's going to get off of the Reaper. Reaper's good when you're already in a good position and then to deny entrance to the point. But you're not going to be in that position unless you get 2 or 3 kills, and that's what Genji excels at.
Yeah, he's going to try and get that Dragon Blade going as quick as possible because that could be the end-all be-all ultimate for the attack. Hack a couple to bits, you swing it your way, and then you take the point. Meko, he's got the self-destruct. So at least got a new mech. could be looking for the big plays as well. Kind of dancing around, making sure that flank isn't going to be open. Now, however, the game is up. London Spitfire, they've committed along the right side. Mecca, however, collapses on Birdring, snuffs him. There's the pulse coming in from Saviobi. Doesn't guarantee the kill, although he will get a clever recall here and get the D-Mac. Well played on his part.
For a long time, Tracers were worried about pulse bombing divas, but now they've understood the value of it. Not there necessarily to get a full health down to mid health, but when they're at mid health or when they're being D-Mac'd, pulse bombing a D-Macking diva will kill the pilot diva as well as she ejects. So nice play there. Getting pushed on here, but the Transcend should save them for the moment. Birdring was able to take on the Tracer.
Well, that canceled out Pine's Dragon Blade. That could be interesting, but then Pine still finds the kill on Birdring, who's made yet another swap over to McCree. Down to half HP, and New York Excel right now doing a fantastic job getting these stagger kills. You get the trance out, and then you take your sweet, sweet time and you hunt them down. Mecco not gonna let Jester get out of there in one piece. Save Yobi there.
The last several months of Overwatch have been so much about not giving up anything for free. If you can chase down a kill, you do. You used to see, oh, the fight's over, let's stop at this doorway, as though there was some invisible barrier that prevented them from going out. Now the only safe place for an offense team trying to regroup is your own spawn, all the way back. They will kill any stragglers. Every team has adapted this style.
I'm getting a bit of eyes on here with Jonak. He is definitely the assassin Zenyatta, knows where to get those volleys in, does tremendous damage, and gets the support from his team to allow him to do so as well. Might as well be a 4th DPS.
Well, they've been targeting him very hard. They know where the bread is buttered for this squad. He's died 4 times already this game, and that's really uncharacteristic. He's got Transcend, but he's just gonna take it back with him to spawn.
No reaction there from him either as he gets plastered across the wall.
This is my life now.
Almost an afterthought there from Jester. He's like, oh, there's a Zenyatta here. Hold on, let me go ahead and just, pound him real quick. Mecco with the self-destruct kill on closer, but there's a lot of white in the kill feed right now. Mecco doing the best that he can to get out of here, but he's not going to be good enough. He gets D-Mec'd and should get killed, and they're making progress on the point now, London Spitfire. 2 ticks for them. Birdring with the Deadeye to delay things further as New York Excel try to get out here to challenge. Not going to happen until Janus King drop his shield.
That was actually really smart to not come out. You'd think this false sense of security of the Transcendence could have... Oh my goodness! Birdring doesn't need the Deadeye. Deadeye just slowing him down.
Oh, the style! Let's see it, looking for more! And they will be able to pick up the point eventually, London Spitfire. 1.5 minutes left on the clock, but Birdring with some tasty play there at the end.
These teams are so evenly matched. There's so much cool little stuff that happened there. The little self-destruct, the wall riding afterwards to D-Mec the diva. The best divas in the world always have their escape plan for their pilot because they want to get back. The worst thing you can do is drop your self-destruct, get nothing, and then die. You're out of mech, you don't get a new mech or anything. So he used the angle to wall ride down, ended up getting a kill, kept himself alive for a little bit. The Transcendence could have baited his own team into a false insecurity, but Transcendence won't protect you from a Deadeye kill because it's all that burst damage. The only person protected is the Zenyatta there. So a lot of cool little tactics coming into play in this super high level Overwatch.
A lot of beta at work right now. That's the beauty of it, man, between both of these teams. And there is a lot on the line here, I think, and for New York in particular, right? You end top of the league, but then you lose the playoffs versus these guys? Yeah, they've got a bone to pick with London Spitfire. They're looking to take some ribbons out of these planes.
London just took money out of their pocket, man. I mean, that stage 1 was a lot of cash on the line there. I mean, of course, the eye on the prize is for the end of the season. These teams so evenly matched, and I don't know, if I'm New York, I'm a little mad that London says, like, oh, we're going to make the gap large between us and the 11 teams. Like, son, you got to take number 1 first.
I mean, that does feel like a very standard thing to say as well. I mean, every team is going to say that. We're looking to be the best. And it's like, yeah. Everybody is looking to do that. But New York right now, they're pretty far ahead. So you got some ground to cover here, boys. But correct mentality. All right, we're going to see a change of strategy here. I like this from London Spitfire. We will have the Sombra in play here on Hago. So these hacks going to get hacked.
They ran this yesterday as well against USAA, and it worked out pretty well for them. So Sombra's really your best bet of having any luck on first point. I mean, first point can be so difficult to defend on these assault maps that if you win 1 or 2 fights from them, that's great. The tipping point you want to look at for Sombra here is if she has 80-90 and the fight seems lost, does she still go for the EMP or does she hold it for second? Now that will prevent a snowball effect from the offense being able to roll in. So when and if she uses her ultimate ability EMP is what to really look for here.
All right, well, a little bit of information gained there. Shouldn't come as too much of a shock, but they know now in New York that Hago is on the Sombra. Pine just fishing for kills right now, chucking himself out in the open. and definitely not going to be giving him much to work with here. One body shot on the Diva mech, but that's not really what Pine's looking for. He wants to get the squishies, but again, you have to play patient here. If you're New York, you need to force London Spitfire to make the mistake, to step out in the open.
Pine should be able to feast because he knows they're going to be playing in pack room. That is very close to being able to pick up the Sombra very early. Hagopin at 61%. Any damage they do that doesn't result in kills just results in ult charge. Look at that. They go get the pack. 85% EMP almost online.
That's unreal how quick it is. Continues to impress. The shields are going to go down here from the Winstons charging in. Just a little bit of a fight, but Woohyel pretty much going to guarantee that EMP for this next fight. Now it's all going to be about positioning here for Hago, and you can see him on the hunt. EMP online, comes out of invis, but gets the squishies, gets the back line. That could be big. Pine certainly going to get overwhelmed here. How is he still alive? Finally taken out. Jonak, however, was able to stay around the corner long enough to wear off that hack.
It was so close to almost being a very good protection there. You want to have this at Yada so that he dies almost instantly. They're able to drop a bubble there. Not quite going to be enough. Janus will get a couple kills. These are not inconsequential, even though the fight is somewhat over. Those 2 kills will take them forever to get back onto the point. Even though soldiers got sprint and mobility, the walk back on Volskaya is miles, kilometers, whatever you want to call it. It's forever.
You can see Sabiobi just trying to keep it up a little bit here, trying not to let them get fully back into it. But you need to be careful because Hago's still around. He's already got another EMP though, Hex. These packs, you know, his teammates are doing a fantastic job of just feeding him ult charge. Once again, look, it's just like Woohyel picks it up. Doesn't matter though, he's got the EMP, and here we go. Once again, invis right in. Doesn't manage to quite hit the timing. Does nearly find the kill on Sabiobi, but he will translocate out. Getting a bit too hot to handle over there.
One of the kind of softer counters to Sombra is a Widowmaker. You need that burst damage to take her down before she can translocate. Of course, stuns also work greatly. I go in a little bit of trouble, just gonna get out of there alive. They've been banking some ults here. There is a preemptive Valkyrie on the side of New York. They're gonna try to gun it down. They will.
Sick tack visor from Burnering. Perfect positioning from him, exactly where he wants to be, on the high ground. Raining down death and destruction from above. There's the EMP. Finally, Hago sees his opportunity. And well, with that hack out, they will get the cleanup. London Spitfire doing a fantastic job here of holding against New York Excel. Minute left on the clock here for New York to make some magic happen, and they don't even have a single tick on this first point.
The window opened a little bit again, though. They took down the Tracer, she should be back. They took down the Winston, should be back in time as well. Losing Pine there really hurts. They could have potentially had a very small window of a 6v4. Now they're probably not going to have it. Pine switches off of the Widow. He's gotten very little done this half on the Widow. He's going to go to a more consistent form of damage, Soldier 76. But it's not burst damage, so you're almost just tickling the team into more packs and more EMPs.
Yeah, you can see Hago, once again, he's worked himself into the small room. He's giving it away as well, but they know now that New York are going to wrap on the right side this time, trying to take that high ground away from Birdring, not let him stand up there for free. And it is going to be the big pack room here. Challenge, Woohyel kind of dancing on the edge. Janus just leaps into the fray as well, trying to reconnect with this team, and here we go. Time to go. Woohyel with the sound barrier just charges right into the mix, looking for the big kills, and that creates the space here for Hago and Prophet to go to work.
2 kills very quickly. They take away the pack room, but then Woohyel just dives in there anyway, takes the big pack, gets the EMP charged up if they even need it. A couple of late kills coming in from the side of NYXL, but it's not going to be enough. 5 seconds left, desperation time. Pine's going to jump on the point, and it's not going to go well.
You can see how meticulous they are right now. London Spitfire, this is pretty much going to be it. Sabiobi is in position to touch the point. No! Gets sniped before he can get out! But every chance there that they had to pick up Woohyel, for example, every chance he had to pick up a pack, boom, picking it up. They had that EMP every fight.
New York looks a little bit lost there. They should know that you have to take over right side room if you want to deny the Sombra. And London played at the Sombra really well. We saw London play against Sombra yesterday really well, where they didn't do tickle damage. They only did burst. They played around EMP.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. To the Blizzard Arena for the final day of Stage 1.
The Spitfire take flight straight into our grand finals.
London are now headed for a rematch against the New York XL, and this is where all the big money is on the line.
And Pine, this guy's a living highlight reel, man. There was just no stopping New York on that push. And New York Excelsior win the round. They are up 2-0 in this final.
We're just one map away from New York taking this.
All right. All right, here we go. London will take Lunar Colony and keep their hopes alive in this series. London Spitfire will tie up this series. The finals all come down to this. New York needs to push. London, are you kidding me? We're into overtime. Here comes a Riptire. Profit could be $100,000 ultimate. Oh, he's after the Mercy. He gets Arc. That's huge. OT ticking away, and that is it. London Spitfire will be your Overwatch League Stage 1 champions.
There you have it, the story of the Stage 1 playoffs. You saw how hyped Ocean got at the end. I mean, it's hard not to be a fan of that guy, man. He brings such positive energy as well as orbs to the face, which is key in playing Zen.
Well, that's why they're bringing him here as we go into Control. They will bring Badoshin in for Hagopin, and he's just, I think he's a little more aggressive. He goes for bigger kills. He's definitely something that you want as far as just getting the frags that you want. On the other side of things, even though we're going to Control, Pine is going to be riding said Pine. He's back to the bench. They're going to bring Libero in. I think that makes sense based on which Control we're on.
Exactly. Hit us with the down deep knowledge heck.
Well, I mean, it's Lijiang Tower, right? So you're generally not going to run McCree. It's just not that good of a McCree map. It's hard to get it in the right position. There's a stage or two that you can sprinkle it in, but it's just not ideal. And still on Lijiang Tower, you always want the option to be able to run a Pharah. And Libero is the best Pharah on this squad. Also can play probably a little bit better Genji than Pine. Pine's a superior hit scan. But you also don't see a ton of Widow on either of these maps unless you have to run it to counter a Pharah. So makes a lot of sense that Libero would come in just based on his pool in Lijiang Tower.
Right, but then we do keep in mind, guys, this is also why we're kind of hoping, cross fingers here, that we go to map 5. I know, you know, if you're a fan of one of these teams, you want it to be swift, you want the 3-0 or the 3-1 in this case, but 5 maps means that we may get to see Pine on Ilios, and that would be straight fire.
Yeah, I mean, Pine is the final boss of Ilios. I think we're probably going to halftime tied up 1-1 here. Overall, when these two teams match up, New York has the better of it on Control maps. Of course, I mean, I think they lost once on Lijiang, but they dominated London on Oasis, and then London's always struggled on Oasis. They dominated them on Ilios. So I think Control overall as a style fits New York a little bit better, but London's not, like, you know, hapless on it.
Well, what comes to mind when you're thinking like Control is also, I mean, it's a bit chaotic, a lot of chances to do some DPS if you have the opening, right? Somebody's out of position for a second.
Right.
It feels like with Jonak on New York, that could play to the strengths there a little bit, because that guy, he's just doing monster DPS, even if he's getting focused and not really having much room to maneuver.
It helps. I've always thought that Control is just really good for Tracer in general, and when you have, you got Sabiobi on this team, I mean, the best Tracer in the world. I mean, fight me at LAN if you disagree, go ahead. There's a lot of good Tracers, but Sabiobi, the morning star shower himself, is just a monster. And I think, like, even when I have conversations with people like, oh, he's not the best Tracer, I'm like, who's better? They're like, I'll get back to you. I will get back to you. Sabiobi is just that good. He's just pure DPS, pure monster on the Tracer, and Yijang Tower is one of Tracer's best maps. I'd be surprised if he ever gets off of it here.
I'm waiting for somebody with the interview, right? You know, just get that question in his face. Because I could totally see like an Olaf Meister moment where it's just like, you know, oh, I don't think anybody's better than me. So the follow-up question is obviously, okay, so who's, no, I don't like, I'm not the best in the world. So who's better than you? Nobody. Yeah. Just say, just throw it down, drop it. Just do it, man. Drop the hammer and really bring the pain, because you can definitely do it. He is so scary. But really, New York, they have such depth in their DPS and their support. Everybody is on point. And so it hasn't gone their way on the first map of this series, but second map now, Control, we could definitely see them tying this up 1-1.
Yeah, they're also missing one of their main supports, too. So a little fish out of water situation here. They're not able to play Arc. He's still, I believe, struggling with a wrist injury or something along those lines. But he should be back as soon as possible, and they want to hold the fort for him while he's gone here. So we're going to open up here on the night market. You can buy all sorts of goods.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and roll on that real quick because, you know, it can happen to any of us. Wrist injuries, guys. It can. Josh, I know you got the meme going right now with the green cast, but I mean, guys, stretch a little bit, keep on top of that, because there's nothing worse than an injury that just sticks with you from overuse.
You know, I have no sympathy for it. It's like, hey, you know, it'd be a good idea, strapping sticks to my feet and going down a snowy hill. Like, come on.
That's a great idea, Hex.
That's a terrible idea.
How are you knocking skiing? And he wasn't even skiing, he was snowboarding? I mean, I get it if you're saying snowboarding.
Fine, whatever. Let me show you both of my working wrists, and that's how I'm knocking it.
All right, well, let's get into the thick of things here. London Spitfire versus New York Excel. It is map 2. London currently up 1-0 in this series out of 4 maps. And already right into the thick of things here, and I do like to see this from Profit. We get the Reaper right out the gates, Hex.
Yeah, no Tracer in this lineup for London, so it's going to just become fight us at the point if you dare. So they're just going to take first control, really good, just zoning out right now, and they're going to have to find a way to dive in. But diving in on a Reaper as a Winston, not gonna work out for you.
You just see how that's gonna happen as well, because Prophet, he's just getting tunneled by his healers right now, making sure that he stays alive. You keep the Reaper alive, nobody else is gonna survive. He's gonna mangle him. Look at this guy going to work right now. 2 kills, and he couldn't even get a third, but he decides to have just a shred of mercy and let him get out.
Ironically, they took Pine out because one of the best counters to a Reaper can be a McCree. Reaper doesn't like fighting at less than full health. So if you get him in a headshot, maybe you can get him to use Wraith form and then chase him down with your Tracer, something along those lines. Libero is off the 76. They're going to transition into a full dive composition here.
And then, you know, you got the sleeper agent over here. Soldier 76 going in with the tag finds and Sabiobi is down. Mano as well. You have to worry. It's this 1-2 punch combination, man. Profit is there to ruin the tanks, and then Birdring in the meantime, just killing your squishies.
Use the sound barrier there, so they will be behind in that ultimate, but so far, Jonak is at 17%, and Mano's gonna be at 77%. It's so hard to get back up. This map is brutal when you lose first control, because it's where do we go? You either go over the bridge and maybe die and go for a swim, or you go through the small pack room, which is just one of the tightest chokes in the game.
Yep, there's the boost, trying to get him into position. It will be the Death Blossom, full on, die, and Libero, he's gone. But there will be Sabiobi on the edge just for a second longer. The recall will be able to get him out of harm's way, and Profit dodges the self-destruct. Unfortunately, this is definitely not where you want to be, Jonas. Not when there's a Reaper. You may have a whole lot of HP, but he will still shred you.
I believe that NYXL has got 1 kill so far this game. The next fight, really important because we're nearing 80%. You have to imagine you're going to see a barrier into a blade. You don't want to go to the end around holding those ultimates. So it's a matter of if they can get in here. I think you barrier before the bridge and then blade over the top of it, but they're going to try to get positioning instead.
It's looking like Libero, he's got eyes. Exactly, there we go. The dash into position. Looking for the follow-up. Could get on it closer. Such a hard target to hit. This guy gets nothing out of it. Libero, no blade love for him. We will have the sound barrier keeping his team alive, and this may be the moment. Despite him not picking up the kills, Savioli wasn't sleeping. He gets to work, and they will flip it at the bitter end here. 99% for London Spitfire. The New York Excel will now try to catch up.
Worked out well for them, but I have to kind of guess that if he had the barrier, he wouldn't have had to deflect. Probably get a couple more slashes and maybe another kill. Doesn't matter in the end, but an interesting order to see what New York is preferring there, to see what the blade can get done and then barrier. Because if the blade gets nothing done, then you can still get kills during your barrier from the rest of your DPS.
Beefier targets, there we go! Pulse bomb on a gesture. And well, you'll be picking up that monkey in bits. Where is the follow-up though? They're just gonna go ahead and give ground here. London Spitfire don't want to have anything to do with them. Doshin Oh, he dies right before Saviovi can pick up the frag.
That's a small victory. Yeah, you don't get credit in the kill feed. Very small victory. On the entrance for London Spitfire coming in, though, they're going to have both support ults. They've got Tactical Visor. New York needs to hold on for one more fight. If Transcend can get them to where they need to be as far as ultimates go on the swing back, but if this first engagement it goes London's way, they're in trouble.
They've got the double, and both transits getting used now. Double zoom Yada on the map. They're running all over the place. Birdring looking to capitalize as the trans wears off with the Tac Visor. He's not getting too much, although he does manage to just wreck Janus. Closer will find that kill. Libero with the blade. Staring down. Oh! The Hex, the Helix rockets right in the face. You're thinking, I mean, that is a nightmare situation from Doshin. He's like, please stay away, please stay away, please stay away. Birdring's there to save him, though.
Yeah, but that's how useless Blade can be when you don't have a dash up. You're just a guy walking towards him like, hold on, if you guys stay right there, I will kill you in a moment. Please don't, but why are you backing up? Why are you backing up? And then dead.
Libero just dancing through the window. Sabiobi's gonna be there as well, but this is only a matter of time. We will have the sound barrier, however, so this could be the difference maker, and Sabiobi finds the kill on Birdring. Gesture of Ocean still in the fight, and there's the self-destruct to try and clear him off the point. Libero is gonna be hanging around here, and he still has Otto to watch his back. Sabiobi with the big plays, and could this be the moment here for New York Excel? Can they finally turn it? This would be a hero play from them. Unbelievable, they manage it.
The Morning Star reigns, and he gets 3 to bring his team back into this. Man, that is one big saddle he just put on and get his team on his back there. Huge plays from Sabiobi.
Yeah. Oh, okay, there we go. Deep nade all the way in. Oh, style from Tonak! Sick sleep!
New York, the city that never sleeps. Not the same for London. Take a nap, take a siesta. Bye-bye.
Oh, we will have the nade getting chucked in, and another sleep attempt. Not going to connect this time around, but that would have been a bit dicey with all of his teammates there to jump on the monkey. Instead, it will be New York Excel. Now, overtime, the table has turned. London Spitfire are the ones battling here to stay alive to try and put this point back their way, but it's not looking too hot here. One of them falls, and a second as well. Libero with the blade is going choppity chop. Prophet going to be able to get out. And this is definitely looking pretty good here for New York Excel.
Libero just hasn't been able to find the dash resets there. Every time we go to him, he's just holding the blade, hoping that someone comes near him. Not that one, though. He gets punched by a random Doomfist out of nowhere.
This has got to be it, though. Prophet doing the best that he can to stay alive. He's buying so much time. Sabiobi clubs him in the face, however, but that bought enough here for Wuyal to get back into it. D-Mech quickly. Now it's on Birdring with the Tac Visor, but the overtime wick had been burning so long. Instantly flipped, and New York...
They're feeling happy. Looking pretty happy about that one.
What a comeback. You almost write them off at that point.
I keep telling you, it's Tracer's world. We're just living in it. When you got this level of Tracer play. Look, I think it's Tracer's best map. I think this is the best stage for her as well. There's a lot of places to dodge in and out of. Some decent packs for you. Sabiobi really clutch it up for his team. And then the nice switch from Jonak to come onto Ana there at the end. That dart was absolutely enormous. Some late switches. New York finds a way.
That was a sick dart on Prophet. You gotta love those kind of flick plays, man. So quick and just, well, lethal. If you were Prophet, that wasn't a good time. All right, 1-0 lead now for New York Excel on the points. They need another one here to tie up the series 1-1 in maps. Well, London Spitfire, let's see. Let's follow Janus. He just goes leaping right in and pancakes Birdring with the help of his team. He will get traded by Gesture, however. But then there's just too much damage. These tanks are getting wiped out for London Spitfire.
Well, tanks are down on both sides of things, but New York with a little bit better of it. Is both tanks out for the other side. That means there is no escaping. Meko goes in there and cleans it up, and New York's going to take first control of this. It's going to be interesting to see where they want to posture, because they're running pure dive. You generally don't want to sit back on the point and wait for the team to come in on you, especially when that team's running a Soldier 76. It's not pure dive, so they're going to have long-distance damage.
There you go. You called it. They just dive right in on him, stop him at the door, put him in that choke point, and make it real difficult. There we go. The D-Matrix stopping that one, but look at the damage coming in from Libero when they're all stacked up, one on top of the other in that room. No way to get away out of the way of the dashes.
Just the swift strike through, swift strike out, and you're eliminated. I want to see Libero's blade coming up next because he's missed his first kill on it several times, and he's just walking around there like a confused guy holding a thing of wrapping paper over his shoulder. Just absolutely non-lethal. And it's just a matter of getting the resets. It's a snowball kind of ultimate, but that snowball doesn't start if it doesn't snow at all.
Well, this will be interesting here because Prophet is right now camping that point. Nobody is there. Mano is just now working his way back over here. Is he going to be able to make it in time? Mano just barely makes it in time to stop that point from getting flipped.
I'm just starting to feel bad for Libero. He just can't buy a kill with that Dragon Blade. Both supports down. London Spitfire should be taking this unless there's a miracle in SBB's pocket. Does not seem like that's the case, so they're just going to stall out, get every bit of percentage they can. They will end at the 63 mark.
That was sick from Prophet. They saw him too, and so New York hesitating just an instant too long there. With Prophet camping the point, he forced their hand, had to peel back from the fight to stop him from flipping it, and well, that threw everything in disarray. And so London Spitfire now gets some percentage rolling for him. There we go, Prophet. Oh, he doesn't get it, but oh, never mind. Jonak goes back into the bomb.
Not the finest example of defensive maneuvers right there. Birdring does pop his visor, but gets taken down immediately. Not gonna matter as the rest of New York will fall very quickly. I want to give Prophet the credit there, and Tracer is an overall hero. The strategy you need to employ is putting pressure on the other team. That doesn't always have to be bullets. A lot of it is backcapping. Where are you going to be? Is there a flank I can exploit to make them turn around? Just being alive as a Tracer can change it. You don't have to full clip people all the time. Your positioning is so important.
Well, now it is going to be New York, but they move in as a unit. All together here. T-Matrix is up for Woo Hyul, but he is going to back out, look for some of the squishy targets here in the back line if he can. Not quite going to be able to find Saviobi. Instead, it's going to be Meko. Meko with the self-destruct, and then Mano with the follow-up on Gesture. Libero now? No, not going to happen.
Really wanted to get in there. He's really just having struggles finishing some kills here. But they are all pushed back. Saviobi will take down Bedosian towards the end of this fight. And now London has one good chance at this. A self-destruct into the courtyard might open it up for them if they want to try to get courtyard access. But you'd have to imagine that this is not going to be the biggest self-destruct, but try to get some space to work with.
Well, Prophet's on the point already, and the fight begins. Gesture leaps in. Prophet still capping that point, still flipping it. Nobody from New York able to get back in time, and in the meantime, Woo Hyul still finds Libero. That blade, it's made out of rubber. He's getting nothing out of it.
Someone call Libero, he's crying. This has been a ridiculously bad series of blades from an otherwise very good player, but it doesn't matter. Rest of his team is there to pick up slack. Those are just zoning blades is what I'm gonna call them. They try to clean it up. There comes a self-destruct. We'll get them off the point for a moment, but only for a moment.
Only for a moment. They have managed to withstand it, New York Excel, and they should be able to flip now. Birdring gone, and 98-99 overtime burning. Now Gesture and Prophet are here to tap it and keep it alive for their team, but they're not going to be alive for long. Prophet down to half HP, insta-kill by Saviobi, and that will be it. New York Excel will tie up the series 1-1.
Exactly what we expected. Libero towards the end just went to Soldier 76. I think he'd had enough of it. Sometimes a hero just eludes you no matter how gifted of a player you are. No doubt that Libero, one of the best DPS on the planet, couldn't find it as Genji. Does not matter because he's got 5 other really good players on his team.
Yeah, exactly right. And well, you saw this whole variety in how they approached it. Prophet constantly looking for the back cap, constantly looking for New York to pull out, but on the second time, it worked around New York. They were able to turn it their way. And well, a little bit of face time. Libero, he can hit dashes at least.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
It's the first halftime of the day. Welcome back, everybody. We got a big one for you. London versus New York once again. And both times in the past, it went the distance. So far, back and forth match, 1-1 as we go into our game 3. Let's talk about the action we've seen so far. Starting with Volskaya Industries. Now, in Stage 2, we've got some new maps. We've seen Volskaya about 3-4 times this week already. This one was a treat, though, watching the London Spitfire.
It was, and we didn't really see Sombra, who's been a mainstay of most teams when they've been playing Volskaya, but both of these two kind of going more towards Widowmaker Tracer. We got to see some great Widowmaker duels between Birdring and Pine. Pine, I think, wasn't quite feeling it today.
No, he wasn't feeling it as much, and it was pretty interesting in this new meta without the Mercy. We're seeing these two teams, me and Sideshow pointed out on the desk that there's not a lot of strategy or tactics involved. It more comes down to individual skill battle, and so it's pretty interesting to see the teams go head-to-head, you know, the DPS trying to find their respective picks, but Pine didn't turn up this map.
And I would also say that the fact that Arc has not been in this game hasn't seemed to impact them as much as we thought it would. Mano's been putting up good performances, was playing the Mercy really well at the beginning, which you saw a highlight of, then went over to Lucio, so the guys on NYXL seem to be adapting to this pretty well.
Now, we saw Hago running the Sombra last time against Houston. Today, he's running it once again. What do you think of the Sombra play, Johnny? I know you were a big fan of it the first time we saw it on Volskaya.
Yeah, I love the hero, especially on the Sombra point A, because you have so much utility and you can dictate the fight, especially. I mean, you have an invisible hero running around on the point. And so you can pretty much dictate when do you want to engage, do you want to back off perhaps and look for a better opportunity. With Sombra, you get that utility, so you can dictate the fights a lot more. And when you get to dictate the fights, you can take more decisive engages.
And when you have the health pack, your opponent can't heal and take your point. Great job by London on defense, but we want to also highlight their attack. And this is Sideshow with our insights powered by Intel. What are we about to look at here, Sideshow?
So London Spitfire actually struggled a lot, and we've got it set up, and this was the push where they actually managed to make it work. There was only 2 minutes left on the clock, and the guy that I want to highlight is sat down at the bottom there, all on his own. Gesture, what are you doing at the bottom there away from all the rest of your team? Well, the reason for this is that previously, the whole of London Spitfire have been going this way, or they've all been going this way, and instead, they have decided to split up. So all 5 members of their team have pushed around this side and are going to engage from the point at this kind of angle. And Gesture is going to try and leap into the backlines and get onto Jonak on his own. And the idea is that as, I'll play it out and you'll see that as the rest of London Spitfire rotate around the top, Mano and Jonak go back down, and that sets Gesture up perfectly because they weren't expecting it whatsoever. And Gesture, just on his own with his Primal Rage, is able to focus down Jonak, take him out when he was about to get a Telestrate, get a Transcendence. What am I talking about? That was the Telestrate. That was the insights powered by Intel.
Excellent stuff, and you can just see that impact that a single tank can have against that backline if it's not protected. Now, going into the second map, I was watching the backline. I was watching Jonak here from New York XL, and he was doing it on the Ana for our first stage. Let's talk a little bit about what we saw when we went to our control map.
Yes, I was a bit excited to actually see London Spitfire pull out the Reaper and the Soldier, because the Reaper was playing with the front line, with the Winston and the Diva, so you're sort of shutting down New York, you're forcing them to jump past the front line to the back line, because you don't want to run into a Reaper, right? And there you have Birdring in the back on the Soldier, so there's 2 multiple threats that London Spitfire puts on the map, and it restricts New York's capabilities to actually engage the way they want to, so it was a neat, pretty strategy we saw on the Lead Giant.
And something that we were discussing as well is that NYXL seem to have changed their style a little bit. They're not playing around Jonak as much as we thought they would be. Instead, they're playing more around their DPS players, particularly Pine on the first map. And so I think the fact that Jonak's moving over to Ana, we might see this a little bit more from them as they try and put more emphasis on DPS rather than on the Zenyatta DPS.
Is that purely because you can no longer turbocharge those Zen bursts? Is that what's happening with no Mercy in the meta?
Yeah, well, you have so much utility when you have the Mercy, you have the Resurrection, and of course the damage and healing boost. So that is a big factor. And I mean, usually in the past, we've seen a lot of teams put pressure on a perhaps Genji or a Soldier to get the work done. We saw Pine on the first map on Volskaya. You're trying to build around your Widowmaker because you need to rely on your Widowmaker to get picks. And it's sort of in a similar fashion we've seen in the past where teams put a lot of emphasis on their Zenyatta to get those picks. And when you have a player like Jonak, you can do that. But in this meta, you don't have the damage boost, you don't have the Resurrection, and so you're forced to put emphasis on the actual damage dealers. rather than the supports who can do a lot of damage.
Well, talking about those damage dealers, we got some highlights from SBB. Sabiolbe popping off on the Tracer. Johnny, talk to me about his impact here, because if you look at the score, it was 99% to the London Spitfire. New York trying to claw back.
Yeah, what is it they say, Bucket? He turned a sour moment sweet.
I don't think they say that. No one says that.
Yeah. So Londo was on the edge of winning this garden stage, of course, but Sabiolbe, I mean, he just turned on and he got all of the picks necessary. And even after gardens on control, or not on control center, on night market, excuse me, he was the deciding factor in my opinion. And we always talk about Sabiolbe. I think I have a slogan now, like the best tracer in the world.
We're making t-shirts. It's happening here.
Yeah, get the t-shirts out.
And I said at the beginning that Sabiolbe had to step up if they want to be able to take this as well, because on the first map we saw that they put a lot of emphasis on Pine, and he wasn't having a big day, big boss with a bit of an off day perhaps. But then we went into Lijiang, and Hex was saying again and again, what's Libero doing? He's running around with just a broom in his hand or something. It wasn't a sword, was it? He was just running after people and wasn't able to get the picks, and it came down to Sabiolbe having to come up with those monster performances to get them through.
All right, well, that is going to do it for our first two games. I got to get your predictions going into the second half here, fellas. Are we going to another Game 5 between London and New York?
I think we could be. I think this is very possible here. We've got Kings Row and then Gibraltar. Who knows what these two teams are going to be doing on Kings Row? I think we might see a smattering of tanks, perhaps Pine back in on the Widowmaker. Definitely for Gibraltar.
Are we going to Game 5, Johnny?
Yeah, we're going to Game 5, Bucket.
Crowd, no one's excited about that? All right, we'll wake you up. Don't worry, it's still early here on Friday. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. And now, despite the loss to Houston yesterday, the Spitfire are still riding high from the Stage 1 finals win. And our crew has been able to track them all week long. And we've got an inside look at our latest edition of Social Studies. If you guys want to be a part of this week's episode, make sure to use the hashtag Social Studies and keep an eye out for your tweets when the full episode premieres on Monday. For now, though, here's a quick sneak peek. Here comes London as they take the stage. They were so fun to watch during that championship run. 14 games played on the final day, Johnny.
For stage 2, I mean, I'm expecting this team to go even higher, to be honest. This is a team that had a bit of a rocky beginning, had a bit of a rocky start in stage 1. They brought it back. They were getting the wins they needed. They made it to playoffs, and then they pretty much, I want to say, upset everyone. Everyone was expecting New York to win in the playoffs, but London took it to them, as we said before, in a ridiculous game. They played 14 maps in that one day, which is just absolutely insane to think of for any team. It's a true test of endurance.
A big battle here in our top 4. Houston versus London, the rematch again.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
Yeah, baby. We are all tied up 1-1 in this matchup between the London Spitfire and the NYXL. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this one. We've had a good variety of heroes thrown in the game. All the support characters are being played. Prophet, he picked up my boy Reaper and did some work. I loved it. And guys, I'm agreeing with Reinforce. I think this is probably going to be a 5-mapper. But remember, every map matters. So both of these teams are going to want to win out 3-1. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the second half and send it over to my boys, our casters, Simler and Hex.
Thank you, Malik. I am just visualizing right now. I'm going deep into the Matrix to visualize a 5-mapper between these teams right now because that would be so sick, Hex. And you were predicting it too.
Yeah, I don't think we have to go to the Matrix. We just go to the VODs. Last two times these teams played, we went to a 5-mapper.
You know, it takes me a while. I got to read them. Like, what's that? Blonde, brunette? No, okay.
Yeah. I don't even see green anymore.
But Hagafun, we can see the subs coming through here, guys. Hagafun is going to be back into the mix, replacing Doshin. We will have Fury into it as well, replacing Wuhyal. And, well, I think there are going to be a few more here because we're still waiting on our side to see who actually loads into the server. But we're not quite ready to get things underway here, Hex.
Yeah, Fury coming in, I have to imagine, might be for a Zarya because we are going to King's Row, and Zarya is very, very good on that map. So that could be the switch there. And then I think they like maybe Hago a little bit better when they want to play more conservatively. You know, the Zen is not actually going after damage that much. Not a fan?
No. You've got Jonak on New York, right?
Yeah.
You need to go toe-to-toe. There is no conservative versus Jonak. Fully commit to the orb
You know,
volley.
in Volskaya, though, they just sent everything after Jonak. They're like, if we just take this guy out, we're taking out heals and DPS. So that's a 2-for-1 right there. And also, Hago got the better of him in a couple of those one-on-one engagements with Jonak as well. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're London. It's like, hey, which top-tier Zenyatta do we want to play today?
They are a pretty wealthy team when it comes to talent and skill. I mean, really, who do you turn to? You have 2 top-tier rosters to draw from. We don't have Rascal anymore on the team. We don't have Fisher anymore. They've been kind of swapped around into other rosters. But there's still so much there for London to work with. King's Row will be our next map. Bit of a Zarya playground here. We saw quite a bit of it yesterday as well, which was exciting because we really didn't, in stage 1 at least, it didn't really feel like we get to see much Zarya play.
No, only on those very specific maps, like Control Center on Lijiang Tower, you see Zarya. You want close corridors. She wants to be able to soak as much damage as possible. Of course, the more damage you take on both your individual shield and your allied shield, the more charge you get. And Zarya at 0 charge, it's nothing. You know,
you're tickling. You might as well be like a mini Winston.
It should just be, the graphic should be a feather, you know, and a really soft feather at that. But then when you get to like that 100%, man, that's straight up Ghostbusters beams. You are melting pools with that. So that's exactly where you want to get. And then Graviton wins fights, as long as it doesn't get eaten, which is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, the Diva Matrix, man. I mean, we've saw these, both of these Divas, no slouches, just so quick to get the Diva Matrix to eat up those pulse bombs as well in particular. But, I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on things here. You're going to have to be quick on your toes to catch that action because, again, these Divas, they don't mess around. Looking like we will have, well, Meko to start things off here on the Diva for New York. Fury has been subbed, and so we will be seeing the Diva from him.
Yeah, this last point of King's Row, underneath allegedly there's like an Omnic City, but that is so terrifying actually. It looks like a scene from a horror. There's chains hanging from the roof. There's like lava pit below.
So are the Omnics the Morlocks? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's happening? Are they just going to come crawling out?
I suppose I'm not going to cast any judgment on our Omnics friends, mostly because I feel that we'll all be working for robots soon enough. So I'm going to get my ground in there that, hey.
Or not working.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
It's all a simulation. So.
Yeah, defensively, they want to run this Junkrat and Widowmaker composition, which is very good. Junk's going to deal with everything on the ground. Widow's going to have a perch and then make sure that no one can really flank on it. It's going to be very good if London comes out in what they're running, which is going to be a Pharah and a Mercy together. And now it's up to Birdring to be able to snipe Sabiobi. If Birdring can take Sabiobi down, well, not going to happen here.
Yeah,
then,
that's sick.
Then the Pharah Mercy can do anything they want. There's absolutely no one who can touch them. Maybe then the Ana has to worry about doing damage rather than healing, and that's a terrible situation. Cool setup here that they're just hanging out with the Orisa. This is an interesting place to set up.
That's a super spicy setup. I love it. That, I mean, instantly, New York, well, they've got a real clever spot because London, as soon as they saw that setup, they're like, what is this, Anubis? Packing out, changing up, not having any of it, and well, Sabiobi still trying to connect with the shots here, not quite getting the job done on the squish. And well, this is going to allow London Spitfire to get a bit of positioning here.
This is perfect change for London Spitfire, though, to go into this tank-heavy composition where Widow is not going to be able to get all the huge burst damage. Still getting some stuff, but they're going to have shields up. They can actually just use the damage that Junkrat's putting out to charge up Zarya, and eventually they're going to posture on the point. That's a huge kill, though. Lucio out of the fight. That's so much healing gone.
Yeah, a lot of that AoE heals with what you need when you got those big tanks burning. He doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He's still getting hunted. Finally. He's going to be able to make it out of here, but Saviovi's put himself into a position where perhaps he can catch him.
Just going to take another breather back here. They're also going to have Coalescence here, and that's going to make Orissa's job very difficult. It goes through shields, mind you, heals your team as well. They still don't really have a high ground here to pressure. They might send Fury up in the Coalescence beam to try to just knock them off of their perch.
Yeah, there we go. Birdring some free shots. And well, right out onto the point, forcing them off the high ground. Why not? London Spitfire, they are making progress here eventually. Somebody from New York Excel is going to have to make their way down. The halt into the open, not going to matter. Gestures there with the barrier, and Libero now with the tire, hoping that they stay grouped up. But already, London Spitfire, very quick reactions from them, splitting up, dividing themselves, and they will find the pick on the tire. Libero getting nothing for it. Now the Coalescence is out, full on Kamehameha, and Hygrofun is keeping them alive.
And now where do they even try to come into attack? You can't drop down in the Coalescence. It does a surprising amount of damage. They're getting absolutely bullied off by all these bodies on the point. The hook, the DMAC, this one all but over for the defense, the New York XL.
Super patient work from London. It felt almost inevitable looking at that last push, how clean they are moving together as a unit.
Well, that's what the 3 tanks gives you. It's the slow, undeniable inevitability of a glacier coming in. You're not going to stop it. It might be slower, but it's going to happen eventually. You need to make switches on it to be able to deal with it. Sabiobi off of the Widow, that's smart. Tracer, you may not think she's great against tanks, but they farm her pulse bomb so often, and they're such easy targets to hit. London should be trying to kind of cavalcade this into, let's use Earthshatter one fight, and then we'll use Zarya on the next fight, and you can kind of stagger those ultimates. I wonder where this Nano Boost is going to go for New York.
Oh! No way! Unbelievable! He gets knocked out of the path! Gesture definitely thought he was going to have the charge there and the ping, but it wasn't meant to be. Earthshatter will start the push, but well, they are definitely going to end it. The barrier is there from the Zarya and the shield here for Gesture to keep himself alive through that self-destruct. They do keep the presence going here on the point, although they decide to give it just a little bit of ground here. London Spitfire regrouping.
It will push them back. Libero does end up taking down Prophet, but he was killed during the channeling of that tire as well. So this is going to still be going forward. And now exactly what I said. That Earthshatter didn't necessarily find what they were looking for, but now they have Grab to fall back on.
You can layer those ults, and well, they're looking to try and catch the guys in the back line here. Bit of a spicy place to be if you're Janus, but he is going to be able to back out. He's got the primal to keep him alive and just kind of leaping all over the place. Angry.
Fury's going to go in here, maybe once again back. There's the grab, catches a couple, but not necessarily everything they want. But the damage comes in late enough. Still a nice swing back here from NYXL. The DPS really stepping up. Takedown 2, takedown 3. A DMAC towards the end will not matter. New York still holding strong in the streets phase. A little over 2 minutes remain.
But nice work there from Janus to get that shield down immediately as the grav came in. Mitigated a lot of damage despite the tire. I mean, they had to fully commit the wombo combo in their London Spitfire, and now they're stuck recharging ultimates. Don't have a whole lot of work, or a lot to work with, rather, going into this next push. New York Excel, however, have got the Nano.
Well, they've changed their entire composition, and that's the right time to change. It's the 2-minute warning. You want to change your comp so you can get ult up that. And nice Nano. This Winston's going to do a ton of damage if he can live through it.
Janus, more than happy to fry him. Wow, I mean, dude, this is really solid coming in here from New York Excel. They are not allowing London Spitfire to get much of a foothold at all.
A little bit of a zoning Nano there, just got everyone pushed back, and that's as good as winning the fight if it drops them back. 90 seconds now, should be 1 or 2 more attempts at this for London, who's just trying to bank ultimates at this point.
Hoping to have a wombo, perhaps, of their own. Fury has got the self-destruct. He could decide to chuck it in there, but Saviobi will win the duel versus Birdring. That's a fantastic start for New York Excel. Libero is here, just launch at the mines and point blank as well. A little bit of an opportunity there missed, but doesn't really matter because he's still got the tire. He could be waiting for it. There, exactly. The trap, perhaps, keep his flank protected when he decides to commit.
Just a really good job of staying even on those ultimates there. They noticed that barrier was used, so they used a transcendence of their own so that they could stand there and fight. Transcendence is almost as good as barrier here because everyone's going to be fighting in the same spot. Tire takes down Gesture, who was looking for the source.
That's fine.
now you're going to have Libero with the follow-up on Murdering. There's Prophet going for the big kills. He finds his target. Jonak is gone. There's the Ana. Doesn't quite get it, though. He will be forced back. Perhaps thought that he could get that follow-up kill. That would have been big. Instead, he's forced to give ground.
Sent to the moon by a nice concussion mine there, and we're down to the last push for the London Spitfire. They've burned everything they had coming into this. They're going to need a pulse bomb. A Primal Rage can at least stall this out, though, and allow them to get towards the position of getting a good pulse bomb. But right now, they're going to have to push into a Nano as well. Nano's going to pick his target, decides whoever he wants to give more damage to. It's generally going to go into the Winston in this composition.
They are starting to make their way forward. Exactly. Bam doesn't waste any time at all. Janus now boosted. He's going after the juicy targets. Hagafun, he doesn't want to have anything to do with this. Desperately floating. He can't float any faster, but he does have the boost there. Big play coming in from closer to keep his teammate alive.
His best friend was all the corners in those hallways right around the corner every time. Does not take critical damage, and because of that, London Spitfire will snag the fight and push 2 to the point. Spawn's pretty far away now for NYXL. Going to be difficult for them to get in a proper position to fight this. They could throw bodies at it, but it might end up being a mistake given how far they're pushed back. Second point will be taken, and they will get an extension on their time bank.
One clean fight, that's all they wanted. We have the tire on the way.
Nice.
You hear it rolling. Libero. Oh, he gets the DMAC, it looks like, but the self-destruct was up for Fury. Doesn't matter, and they get off the point. What? Just long enough.
I caster cursed that so hard. My apologies to everyone at home and on stage and playing right now. I thought they had that. I didn't even think New York was going to come back and fight that because they were going to be in a rough spot. They got their tanks there in time. The pressure from the Tracer was alleviated, pulled back to the cart, thinking perhaps that they were going to get it for free anyway. That can't happen. But you know what? I'm actually not surprised because it has happened to London before.
Wow, Jack is definitely kind of face-palming right now.
Reprint the sign.
Reprint the sign. I mean, I hope they have magic marker on that. You know, it's not permanent. They have to, let's think of the paper. Don't want to waste the paper. Get it done with like a magic marker.
I think
or something.
even dry erase might be a little too permanent for Alpha. They have to change that. You might as well just get tear-away paper or at least a pencil or something.
Pencil, yeah, with the eraser. Let's go old-fashioned. Let's go way back. Wow, this is definitely something that London, you know, they've still got to shake off.
That's rough.
Just a little bit. That is brutal. Because you're thinking, man, we finally did it. We won the fight. Let's go, boys. We got it. We're still in. Oh, wait, never mind. Time to swap and time for us to go on the defense. And, well, we'll see if they're going to be able to stop New York. New York only need the 2 points now. A single point picked up for London Spitfire in the first half.
Seems like they're running the same defense that New York ran, so we may see you know, kind of a new strategy developing here on Kings in the Overwatch League. Cool to see that Orissa's getting some play here.
Exactly what we want to see. I mean, we're gonna have to keep coming up with names for this because this could still be the high horse, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
it could still be the high horse.
It's about as high as you can get on Kings Row,
yeah.
Anyway.
You can't really use the May, I guess, to get there any higher. And then would that be useful?
I mean, the high horse would be like way up top here.
Yeah.
There would be the highest of horses.
Okay, fine. So we're gonna go with the Shetland then?
The little Sebastian?
Yeah, little Sebastian. This is the strat. We will have Orisa making her way out onto the little balcony here, dropping the barrier. I like it though, the scatter arrow right in. No barrier here, have a bunch of damage.
No chill, he's just out there for the sonic arrow and then he sees a juicy target, might as well fire that scatter arrow there. Able to do so much damage.
That's the bane of Orissa's existence.
All for naught eventually as she will get healed up, but so close.
Oh, that was fun. That would have been so brutal if it actually connected full on with Orisa, and then it's like, oh, well, sorry, Gesture, you're done, you're out.
New York has seen where their opponents are set up, and they're going to go for an entirely different strategy than London did to try to crack this. They are transitioning into a full dive composition. They want to get to high ground and take this round away, rather than forcing the low ground fight with tanks.
No, you can see it clearly there. Birdring repositioning, hoping to catch somebody out here in the open as the tanks go chopping in. There are some squishies, but they're doing a very good job here from New York of closing those sightlines, making it difficult for Birdring to have any effect at all with the sniper rifle. Forced up, and Gesture just decides to take the fight to the low ground. This is it. Hold on the corner behind the Orisa shield and just head up that hard point defense, make life difficult for New York.
London did a fantastic job of a soft hold there. As soon as the dive came in, they backed up, but not entirely. They backed up about 4 feet, then they moved to the other ledge, just bought them enough space and time for the healers to do everything that they needed to do to keep the tanks up. Both tanks remained up. You saw Fury put a little pressure on with a little dipsy doodle up and dive back into behind the shields. And now, because of all the damage they took during that dive, the support ultimates are almost online.
Herbicide is up, as you guys can see. Birdring can see through walls. That was the shot right there. Had he been able to clip Savioli, that would have been a big kill. Instead has to change it up. He does get quite a bit of damage into Jonak there, and Jonak will get followed up on. Gesture finds that frag. And so far, London Spitfire, they've taken the fight to the low ground, but they are holding, and there we go. That was just insult to injury. The fight was already over, but Birdring gonna feel pretty good about that one. And that one. There's the stagger.
That's a little bit rough, though. New York may be feeling okay about that because they forced out a Valkyrie that maybe wasn't entirely necessary, but the problem is their DPS are going to have to try to get a Blade going into a Transcendence. Not going to be ideal. If you could script this for New York, you would like to Pulse Bomb the Zenyatta, get the Transcendence out, and then come in with Blade, but they are quickly running out of time.
Not a whole lot. Down to a minute and a half here. New York trying to find an angle of attack. Livro has got his Dragon Blade. Could be looking for the opening. He's definitely in, and there we go. Dragon Blade is out. Gets on a Birdring. Perfect target. Finally connects. Took a little bit longer there than necessary. Alive! There we go. Livro gonna be happy about that. Finally getting some value from the Blades.
That's the only thing that was lacking from his game previously. His straight up vanilla Genji play was fine, but it was just the Blades that came up a little bit short. Does not matter. Cleans it up. The range of the Blade really working against Junkrat in that situation. Generally, it's Junkrat's targets who are stationary, but when he's channeling that tire, he's got to use all of his mental force to, mind control that tire. I'm not entirely sure how that works. And he's just sitting there, absolutely beautiful.
I'm just picturing a world where he took one extra step before doing the tire. And Rob just there with the Blade, swinging, can't get the kill, just out of reach. It's like the cookie jar on the top of the fridge, man. You just can't get up there.
The thing is, once it's channeled, you can't just put it away to get your primary fire out. So he was left to his own devices, hoping that the Blade would be able to hit there. This is a beautiful switch from Libero. I love Pharah on second point here, especially against what they're going up against. There is no one who should be able to touch Pharah here.
Yeah, she will have the skies to herself. New York Excel winning the dogfight. And well, now, look at where they have to push that cart. The rectangle right there within striking distance now as the cart makes progress. Mano, Meko, and Jonak ferrying it closer. And Libero will be there to work with Savioli to find the kill on Prophet. That will make life difficult here for London Spitfire. Prophet has got a long way to run to get back into this fight.
It's the difference of their aggression. When London was trying to push forward on this point, they only sent the Tracer. This time they send the Tracer, the Pharah, and the Winston together. They clean up a kill. Now it's a 6v5.
Oh, I'm loving the self-destruct though. This could be tasty. And there we go. Sure enough, Janice can't get out of the angle. Trance is there, however, to bring Meko back up to full, but oh, that was sick from Hagopian. He delayed his long enough here to perhaps give London Spitfire the edge that they need to turn the tide, to withstand the attack. Savioli caught in the corner, nowhere to go, and doing the best that he can to stay in this.
Well, it's not over yet. New York has still lost very little here, whereas they got a kill of their own, so they're still fighting with an advantage. The tanks are just trying to stay alive, peppering damage. This barrage could seal the deal. Problem is he needs Diva out of mech. He gets out of mech. Here should be the sealing barrage, if they even need it.
They don't. Now that's the style barrage. He's even getting boosted. The BF coming out from New York at the end. Throwing it all in because they know they've got it in the bag. New York Excel take the lead in this series. 2-1. Some fine work indeed.
Libero flexing his hero pool. The Genji did well that round. The Pharah was a great pick. I just like the decisive nature in which they picked. All right, that's over. Now we're going to this comp. This is our comp for here. They have the fluid transitions that you need to excel in Overwatch.
And this is where these types of teams are going to excel. They will show the depth that they have in their playbook. And so we'll see. Fourth map coming up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Focus up, guys. Focus up.
We have the best players. We have the best fans.
Going into game. Going to 3. On 3.
We wanted to make sure that all the best players in the world were in the league, regardless of where they're from. You're really starting to see everybody really wants to up their game.
3, 2, 1, and live. Welcome to the party.
So many stars on this lineup.
And this is where we see the high-quality Overwatch, everybody.
Enough of the fun and games. It's time to get the job done.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We have our wish. Map 4 is on the way, and it's still possible to go to map 5. Hex, I mean, both of these teams, they're really dialed in right now.
Yeah, I would actually say the London might have a bit of an advantage as we move on to Escort. We're going to Gibraltar, Watchpoint Gibraltar, not the Rock of Gibraltar, but I'm sure there's a rock out in that ocean somewhere.
London would obviously be pretty comfortable at the Rock of Gibraltar.
Yes,
I mean, they used to own that thing. So.
It used to be the most heavily defended naval port.
There you go. I like it, Hex. That's right. Let's go Napoleonic War, guys. Go read Master and Commander, Fire book. All right, we have a sub coming in, guys. Pine is back. The Lord of the Dab is back in the building on the stage. And, well, we're going into Gibraltar. This is Widow territory.
There's got to be a limit of hand warmers where they lose their effectiveness. That was a bevy of hand warmers, a baker's dozen of hand warmers. But hey, you got to warm up those hands as we go into Gibraltar. No surprise that they're bringing him in here. It's a very hit scan friendly map where you can run a Tracer and a Widow, a Tracer and a 76. I was actually a little surprised yesterday that we didn't see a whole lot of Soldier 76. It used to be one of his very best maps. You get him on the high ground on defense in the back corner. You get him on top of the shuttle on defense, and it's just very hard to dislodge him. You have to send 2 tanks up there, and when that happens, the ground is wide open for everyone else to feast on. So I'd be surprised if we don't see some Soldier 76 sometime this stage. But so far, everyone's preferring the Widow. I think might have to do with a little bit of the LAN client, actually. Everyone likes Widow a little better when there's 0 ping.
When there's 0 ping, exactly. When there's 0 ping, you have that instant reaction. And with the damage that she can do, the headshot potential, the one-shot, one-kill potential, that can turn tides. We've seen it happen time and time again throughout Stage 1 and already here in Stage 2. The Widow players, man, they're delivering.
And about Gibraltar, the thing is, if one team picks Widow, you kind of have to pick Widow on the other side. It's just so long are these sight lines that even sending tanks up there, they're going to take 2 headshots before they even get in on Widow, and then she's just going to grapple away. So really the only great answer to a Widow on this map is a Widow of your own. However, if you just are losing that battle constantly, you have to find a different way to do it. Peanut butter in there?
But with the banana on the label,
yeah.
What are they trying to say here?
Peanut butter and bananas. Winston used to squat here. You ever have the peanut butter and jelly that comes in the same jar?
No, Hex, because I have a soul.
Apparently not, because it's amazing. It's less silverware to clean. I'm saving the environment. You only need the 1 knife, not 2. I guess you don't use 2 different knives anyway. All right, I haven't made a peanut butter.
Where are you going to this?
I haven't made a peanut butter jelly in a long time. I don't know, man. I'm hungry.
I'm just picturing you like dunking the bread. Like, I gotta save the environment. You're just dunking your bread, dip right into it like it's dip. All right, well, enough on the peanut butter sandwiches, guys. Go make one if you're hungry. I'm hungry for good Overwatch, and we're definitely going to get served here. It's been a full 3 courses, and now we go into the 4th. And already, you can see Birdring on the hunt. London Spitfire starting on the offense as the away team. New York Excel on the defense, already making progress on the point, but New York, they're going to get a bit of an early challenge in here.
Almost got Pine there. Birdring saw him popping around the corner. New York playing a little more aggressive than we saw yesterday on Gibraltar's defense, playing under the bridge here, what used to be known as the cart wash when Symmetric could set up under there. But now they're just kind of just buying a little bit of time. If they lose anyone, they should be in full retreat to hold back at doorway. That's where everyone else was holding. But so far, these tanks are doing great by making London earn every inch.
And they've got Anna in the back line. I mean, she is not really being challenged right now. It's hard to get to her, and so she can just pump healing into you nonstop with those nades as well. And now Birdring is going to start getting into a bit of a fun spot. If he could get that high ground, it could have got interesting. Instead, he decides to kind of get back over here with his teammates.
Well, he's going to be hiding behind this card for a while because Pine just activated his ultimate. He's able to see where everyone is. That helps you so much in the Widow duel. They're just going to jump into server room here. Mono falls, finds himself out in no man's land. Janice will be second.
Sick Pulse, that's as clean as it gets, and Prophet can get out of dodge as well, and get the snipe on Sibyobi. So, solid. London in a position perhaps to continue pushing this point forward.
Meko is still alive, just being a nuisance on this card. His D.Va's been unkillable. He's bought them so much time. Now, they have time to maybe come back here and fight. The problem is they don't want to lose a couple people who get bad respawns. They are going to come back and fight, though. This is their style.
Yeah, New York, they've shown. They've got the grit. They're willing to get in here. Bit of an attempt there from Birdring. The D-Matrix stopping the second shot. Do you go for a third? That's what happens. You don't go for the third peak when Pine knows where you're coming from. And already there is going to be a bit of the fight, but Prophet is here to make up the difference along with Fury. They are still finding the kills despite Pine's best efforts in that duel.
Pine just took away his spot on the other side too. Jester's doing a lot of work. Not only these kills, Prophet cleans up with a pulse bomb, absolutely. But his bubble on the point kept everyone alive because Pine, after he took down Birdring, took his spot in the top right corner. And that's a huge sightline for everyone, but a beautifully placed Winston shield allowed everyone to play near and on the cart still.
Well, right now I am wondering, well, look, we have Prophet just going ham. I'm wondering if our stat screen is wrong here because I'm only seeing 2 final blows for New York XL.
It's possible. I mean, Pine got the 1 kill onto Birdring, and I haven't seen a whole lot else really going on up there.
Dude, they're getting wrecked right now. London Spitfire, they're going off.
Yeah, only 3 deaths on the side of London so far, and that was just 1 right there. Pine gonna go down. Gesture is God tier tank. I cannot believe how good this guy is. Constantly for his team, gets in, gets out. That's the mark of a good Winston, staying alive, riding that razor's edge.
Oh, there we go. Birdring pulls a fast one on Pine. The sniper duel again, the point blank and shot it. There's the 3. Gets a little bit of help from Prophet, but Birdring is still here, connecting with shot after shot and just doing the deeps.
What a cool position. That is, I want to talk about Gesture again, though. Because of all he does there to open things up, they have to sit back on that right-hand side corner where they want to come in, and they're completely exposed to the really sneaky flank of Birdring there to pop off right there.
Oh, buddy, Birdring, that was a bit sloppy. Jonak will find the shot, but hoping for that grappling hook, just not latching. Sometimes it can get frustrating. You're not quite going to get that connect, and so he was looking for that master position.
Bit of hubris there. Prophet will fall to Jonak, who continues his terror on Tracers here. Yesterday, what I talked about is getting into a checkpoint position with your Widowmaker. It's going to be more difficult with a Widow on the other side of things, but if they can get this card pushed around the bend, they can get a perfect Widow spot. I go in a very interesting, a beautiful body block. You're staying in here.
Sick work, but in the meantime, Birdring is caught mono. No bit of damage there. Hagopin will eventually get caught by both of the tanks, and so that's quite a bit of work done because they are trying to bring it back here in New York. They're trying to hang into this. Gesture finds Pine, though. A lot of damage now dropped for New York XL. Jonak doing the best that he can to make up for it, and he does survive.
A little chaotic, but now teams are regrouping. Prophet's just going to wait for a double blink pulse bomb. He's going to get past the D.Va, go in, but now he's just going to have to wait. Birdring down to save Yobi as well. That was a pulse bomb that, I mean, it's not the most valuable, but that was ambitious to say the least.
Really hoping there for the Hail Mary. And they will be able to back off, regroup in New York XL. They have Meko self-destruct as well.
Well, they're going to have the power of music on their side. New York XL just had their own DJ party. Mano used it early, and they won that fight, are able to deflect them. But now London with the advantage of being able to go in with their own sound barrier, try to pick up some kills there. And during that sound barrier, I'd imagine Hago gets his Transcend, so they can really stack support ults here.
Birdring, he's just crossing his fingers hoping. But he was able to get around the corner just in time. Barrier is down. Birdring not quite able to find the shot there. Looking for the one, not quite there. There it is! Jonak doesn't know what hit him. Birdring, clever angle right over the top. Aware that Sabiobi could be in the back line, but now it's about finding Pine. If he can get that kill, this opens up everything. Pine playing it very carefully right now, out of line of sight. And there's Birdring looking for the headshot, hoping to find Mono. Mono out in the open. There's the follow-up. Birdring reigns supreme at the top of the apex here. And the high ground does it all. London Spitfire will get their 3rd point. 2 minutes, 18 left in the time bank.
Impossible for the defense to deal with an offensive Widow in that position. You're just trying to get out of the doors. Gibraltar is such an interesting map because there's almost no defender's advantage at last because you're getting pushed back so hard, and it's only those 2 small doors. We've seen the tanks can block them, just sit up there. A lot of people generally are going to go to the right side door anyway, and then as long as you have 1 person on each door, it's darn near impossible to get out there. So once it reaches that tipping point of being about 30 meters away, defense has to find some miracle to pull it out.
That's what we were seeing yesterday. Birdring even more aggressive, but with that Widow, you can set all the way back, just be untouchable, and as soon as you try and challenge the point, boom, you're getting bullets to the face. Birdring deciding to not even let them get out the door. But New York, they're definitely playing on point right now. There is no doubt about that. Countdown has begun to get these this last half potentially underway.
2 minutes in their time bank for London, so it's a very good time. Not unbeatable, of course. There were a couple hiccups here and there. Not much, but New York did put up some defense. Only 7 deaths total for London on that entire push.
No, this was... that's why I was kind of doing a second take there. Like, what? Looking down at the stats just to get an eye on things, and you realize, wait, it's zeros across the board pretty much for New York. That's not what you expect at all in the first 2 points of the fight.
Yeah, it's 30-7.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's a little rough there. But New York, we'll see what strategy they want to employ here. London, not really too much of a switch up. Birdring will remain on the Widowmaker. They're going to add in some long-range damage and healing. Ago's going to play the Ana. Ana's usually pretty good on this point. Much like Numbani, she's got long sight lines, able to stay out of the fray. If she gets dove on, she's got escapes and she's got sleep darts. So it's still a map that you'll see Ana on as well. New York Excelsior are going to go very dive heavy, and then Pine is going to try to win the Widow War.
So Jester gets spot out early. Barrier goes down. They will get a bit of a challenge, but he still has his jump pack to get out of harm's way if he needs to. And he's thinking about it, and sure enough, but then Meko is there to try and chase, trying to keep that pressure up, not let him get topped up for free.
Well, that was great pressure. He canceled his fly halfway through because he saw the Diva coming up there. So you trade 1 tank's position for 2 tanks positioning, and that's like a nice little trade you'll take. They have to go back there just to save their Winston.
Birdring has to give ground. Pine now has the advantage, has the angle, and so we'll see, can Birdring come up with something big? And no, Pine was ready for him. Birdring out of the fight, that's a lot of damage lost for the defense, and Meko, following his perspective, he is not letting up on Gesture, just keep pouring on the damage. Janice will get the kill in the end, but Meko right now doing work.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful play from the NYXL tanks to be able to peel so well, to go back and protect where they know their main source of damage is. Able to get Pine in position that he needs to be. They will take first point very easily. Pine also has the advantage in the infra site as well, so the sniper battle definitely going his way early on. Very aggressive tank positioning forward here.
Deciding to give ground, just a bit of a poke there, let him know. Birdring has been spotted by Pine. Pine going deep. Pine gets forced off the high ground, but you're definitely seeing a world in which he could find that kill. Mono will find Profit, and Pine somehow gets out, but that's right, the door closes in his face.
Shut the door on it. New mech is called down. Fury is going to be the one trying to stall this out, but that is a focus fire barrage on a Fury. A little late with the backup there is Gesture, and he gives his life for it. Jonak out of the mix, but everything else is blue in the kill feed. New York is rolling through. Right now, Pine is going to know exactly where this team's coming in from in a moment, whenever he wants to be able to see the world.
Yeah, 2 kills so far for London Spitfire on the defense. So on Gibraltar here right now, it's the offense that is just dominating, and the defense are finding it very difficult to put up much of a fight to get those deciding kills.
That's been the trend so far since we've seen Gibraltar. Defense is hard to come by here. It's such a snowbally map. If you can hold here on second, then your defense can absolutely stabilize, but it's a matter of getting that first fight win.
Well, we got Saviobi occupying the high ground, in position to drop down the pulse bomb, go for a bit of the carpet bombing here if he wants. Loves the smell of pulse munitions in the morning.
Who doesn't?
There we go, sound barrier, Pine. Hunting, looking for his target right around the corner. Gesture's there to watch his back, and that is going to be Birdring from on high.
Birdring has to do a lot here because both supports are down for the London Spitfire. He's able to take down Pine and Jonak, equalize for a moment. New York still with the better of this. Remember, New York also gets a little bit of healing from the cart. It's often overlooked, but that little source of healing helps out, especially in those long attrition tank battles. They're getting healed constantly just by being near the objective.
Oh, super solid here from Janice. He could stay on it, but he decides to play it safe, back off, and take it into the main fight here as the back line do get exposed. Trans will get forced by Hagapun.
Put him in the corner. He's not even doing that much healing because he's knocked back in the corner. Beautiful play by Janice to really negate that Transcendence full effectiveness.
And Birdring not going to survive. Trying to get back over here to the heels. Not quite that burst healing that he was looking for, though. Saviobi will get the fight. The big kill on Hagapun with the recall, the style.
you don't need to kill the person there. You need to kill where they want to come in from. He shuts that door by sticking the pulse bomb there. It's like a mine trap. It's a tripwire. You can come through if you want, but he wins either way. Either he kills him or he zones him out on the outside. Such a cool play from Sabiobi.
Super sick. And that's exactly what we expect, a level from Sabiobi. The man makes no mistakes. And well, playing 4D chess over here. Decides to back off. Pine is the one managing the card, but he will get joined there by Meko, and so that allows Pine to start looking for an angle on the high ground here to try and catch out the London Spitfire, who have to hold for 4 minutes.
It's interesting that he went to the Genji. It's a little bit favored for the defensive Widow in this situation. Of course, the natural high ground, and the defensive Widow is going to have about 2 to 3 options of great spots that she can set up on. Very difficult to poke it out as an offensive Widow in this situation. If they get more progress, I imagine Pine will switch back for that kind of checkmate style of Widow, but right now they're getting bullied back. And on this map particularly, you have to go all the way back to spawn to be safe, because look at this chase.
Man, they don't give up. They don't care. London looking for the stagger, and they get Jonak out of it too. That'll delay things further. We're getting close to 3 minutes now in the bank, and they haven't made a whole lot of progress on that payload. In fact, it's rolling back down the hill, or floating back down the hill.
Yeah, but it also rolls back uphill sometimes, too. I don't know how physics work.
Not in the land of Overwatch. I mean, we've already had this discussion about tires. Now let's get into gravitational anti-grav fields on the bottom of these cars.
Well, Pine has switched back to Widow here. He's decided that his Genji was not working well enough, so he's already back to Widow. Gets himself an early couple of flicks there. Jonak goes to town, though. 2 quick kills. This is completely one-sided in favor of New York right now.
Yeah, this can make all the difference now. Because you can see Sabiobi just dives forward. He wants to find out where are they holding from. Chases Birdring back into spawn. And so now Sabiobi, he realizes that there is a man in the back line getting calmed there from his teammates. Prophet kind of on a mission here, and Sabiobi not quite sure where he's coming from. There we go. Target locked, spotted, and now looking to close the door. Perhaps could get that pulse bomb to use it the similar way again, and yep, sure enough, just blocks the entry, delays things further.
A little bit late, though. He would have liked to get that on the Zenyatta there, even though the Zenyatta would have transcended out of that. This is still a brawl. Both support ults now used on the side, but Sound Barrier going to give everyone a little extra oomph. Pine takes out his counterpart. That's huge.
Yeah, Birdring probably not in position to get that Sound Barrier. Fury, though, going to get the kill on Pine. That's big, and it's trading back and forth. If this keeps up, however, London are going to be feeling pretty happy about it. The 2 tanks still alive here for New York Excel, but the New York have got farther to run to get back into the fight if they die.
Yeah, and you can tell which direction they want to go by which direction Janus leaps there. He's out of that fight, waiting for reinforcements. It was the first domino fell there. They took out the opposing Widowmaker. That should set up Pine in position to lock the door. Finds himself on the wrong end of a self-destruct, though. Now they got to give it another go.
And again, oh, there it is! He's gonna be able to make it back in time, though.
I thought he stuck him.
I thought he did too. There we go. Jonak, though. Maybe Orbs will do the trick. Yeah, not quite connecting.
You might got all the way back to spawn. Of course, there are 2 doorways. One you cannot get healed in, and the other is your safe base of spawn. It is a staggered system.
X, we're a minute away from getting your wish. 5 maps. It is possible here for London to hold, to withstand this, and take us to a 5th map, which would only be fitting between these 2 magnificent teams.
Pine is getting bullied out a little bit. He needs to stay alive, get his infrared sight up. It's so amazing to me how these top-level Widows just don't even worry about some of the threats. I mean, there's a Winston all over him. He's like, nah, my team will deal with it. I gotta make shots right now. He can see through walls, should be able to win this duel. Does just that!
Oh, man, big play from Pine. Winning the duel versus Birdring, looking for the follow-up on Prophet, gonna get the body shot, not quite the kill, but it looks like he got the follow-up, and now it's Sabiobi's time to shine. The Transcendence coming in again here from Hagofa, and he's making the difference, and the pulse gets whiffed by Sabiobi. But still, this could be the turning point here for New York. If they keep it tight on the payload, let their healers go to work and do the job. The follow-up, and there it is, Pine again, the kill on Birdring.
That was a clutch transcend, though. It's the only reason they're still in this. That Winston was getting very low. They got out and were able to heal him all the way up. Diva now out of the mix now. Pine going to take the lockout position, try to get this perch. If he hits 2 or 3 shots, they should win this. Huge swing! Back and forth, though. Sabiobi and Jonak out!
Overextending, perhaps, and there's the headshot. Pine, the man looking to make a difference, but Prophet is having none of it. Decides to get his return. And well, now it's Mano, desperate to stay alive. He gets hunted by Prophet. The 2 tanks here hoping to keep it going for New York Excel. The self-destruct out in the open will remove Meko. And can Sabiobi make it back in time? Just there. But the overtime wick, it's burning low, and it will be A 2-2 situation. London Spitfire win on the 4th map, and we're going to overtime. It is going to be another control map.
The actual defender's advantage of respawning quickly and closely when you get a couple of kills came into effect there on Gibraltar. So many clutch support plays at the end to keep the tanks alive, and then finally eliminating the main threat that is Pine, allowing them to hold that map. We are going to map number 5, and that is going to be Ilios.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Beautiful from New York. The NYXL picking up a team kill here.
And it looks like London Spitfire will be able to take control once again.
Libero finds his 3rd kill on the fight. NYXL, they have a ton of talent. Prophet going for the hack and slash. It's a real horror show. Jonak hitting the volley. Jonak still alive.
Some of the best Overwatch you will ever see on both sides.
All right, welcome back from the break, everybody. Hex, it's Christmas come early. 5th map, I know, that was a great reaction. 5th map here between London and New York. It's everything we could have hoped for here. A repeat of the Stage 1 finals.
Hoped for and expected. I mean, we kind of just figured, it's probably going to 5. It's the easiest way to figure this out, but it's going to Ilios, and this favors New York a little bit in 2 ways. One, London's just not all that great at control. They just haven't been overall. It's one of their weakest map types. Still a great team, just happen to struggle a little bit on control. 2, Ilios, the first time we saw Pine, he decided it's the Pine show on Ilios, some of the best McCree we've ever seen. He's staying in the lineup for this team on Ilios. And we're going to have a little best of 3 to decide who takes this one. A lot of this is going to be stage dependent. I think that perhaps London can definitely hang on Ruins because I think their Widow play is just as good as Pine's Widow play. I think when you get to maybe Lighthouse, that's where Pine absolutely dominated the best 10 seconds of McCree I've ever seen in my life.
Murder hole, man.
Yeah, that's the
murder hole.
That's the murder hole. But it does seem like right now, at the very least, we are probably going to be queuing up into Ruins. And I want to look at, of course, the DPS, Pine versus Birdring is going to happen. Of course, the Tracer battles are going to happen. SBB, Sabiobi, is one of the best anti-Tracer tracers in the game. Just completely shuts down what the other person wants to do. And also, I mean, the tanks are great. You can go across the board here, and then you look at the Zenyatta matchups. This is why we're at 5. These two teams are just both too good.
Exactly. They balance each other so well, but really, when it comes down to control, you really feel like this is Sabiobi's time to shine. Pine stole the spotlight last time, but Sabiobi, you can just count on him to win those duels, to shut down those DPS for the opponents. He is the reason why we're going to a map 5 as well.
So no Zenyatta mirror here. Actually, London is going to be running Hagopin on the D.Va. It's so important for him to get to this big pack early. They need to play around it. And not only play around the big pack, but it denies it for the other team. This pack right here, London is trying to posture up. New York is smart. They've snipped this out. They're going to try to do a lot of damage, but no, that pack is already hacked. Too late. Good job.
It's already hacked. London Spitfire, they were quick. They knew exactly what they were doing. They got in there fast, and now they have control, and that is going to limit things. Guess what? There's no pack there to keep you alive, Janice. You're going to have to back off. Pine, both exchanging the body shots. Couldn't cut it closer. And there we go. Birdring wins the duel. Pine is out of it. Birdring now reigns. He gets to call the shots and hit them too.
No one's going to be able to escape on this one. They're still trying to get over the top. They have to back up. Prophet goes a little bit too deep, gets himself a nice case of tinnitus there as Mano's able to boop him, but he should be back into this mix. And they did such a good job of playing around the pack. Like I said, denying it is the big deal, but the rest of the team stayed over there and took chip damage that we've got EMP up already.
Oh, buddy. Well, okay, but that was a bit of a shock there. You definitely don't want to have Jonak point blank in your face with the orbs. But look at this positioning here from Prophet. Surprise, surprise. You can't get comfortable over here.
He's probably waiting for them to try to come in through room so that he can get a giant false bomb in there. He's just going to choose to try to DMAC the D.Va. It says happy birthday to the ground instead.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, it doesn't pan out. Hagapun, however, could go for the MP, but he gets canceled out. Great play there between Jonak and Mano. They obliterate him immediately. No EMP possible for London Spitfire in this fight, and that could be the difference maker. It looks like New York wants to try and press their advantage, and Pine, not a fun place to be when you've got a Tracer blazing away.
New York has 4 kills and Mano has 2 of them. He is absolutely a terror on this Lucio. He's not quite familiar with the role, but he's doing a great job on it. Gonna have Soundbarrier up for the next fight too. They just used Transcend. Now it's about evicting them from the point. An EMP comes off, and that was an interesting timing on the EMP. You have to wonder if Hagopin is planning a switch here.
Dude, that was unreal because Mano had just got the sound barrier out as well, and so sure EMP, but they have so much HP. And it's looking like New York right now. The kills favor them, and they will be able to flip the point. 74% gained for London Spitfire. But now it's New York's time to play on the defensive side here.
Yeah, I thought Hago might switch because I think he lost control of the main pack. And Janus has been hanging around there just spamming his primary fire so that he can decloak a Symmetra, not allow her to hack that pack for free. But Hago's going to stick with it. At 75%, they really only need to win one more fight, and that's exactly what EMP can do for you.
Jesus, that's a lot of damage with the volleys, man. Jonak is monstrous. Gesture pissed off. He's going after Jonak. He gets the kill in the end. Pine, however, is going to be the one from on high, not quite finding the kill, and now he's getting batted around. The headshot, but not charged, and Hagopun survives.
Little surprise that the Sombra is down there. Janus doing his best to bring his team back into this. Birdring gets Mano, who was looking for a health pack, finds death instead. London has taken control of this fight.
Oh, the boop out of it closer. Quick reactions from him. Not going to take any fall damage there. And Prophet not going to let Janus get out intact. It's London Spitfire fighting back here versus the New York Excel on Ruins. They flip the point. They're up to 80%, and it's on New York now to make some magic happen. Pine and Birdring both have Infrasight up and ready.
this little battle, Hago should be looking for Jonak, knowing that Transcend hasn't been used in a while. If he can get back to Jonak before he's able to get anything done, to EMP and delete Jonak, that will completely swing it in favor of London.
Interesting decision here. Janus way overextended. Gets collapsed on, not able to get out, and now that sets it up here. Birdring, he delayed it. What a shot on a Jonak! Delayed in for sight, and he's taking full advantage. He knows exactly where Pine's playing from. The pressure is there, but he's gonna hook right into his healers, make sure that they can keep him alive, and there will be the sound barrier. The celebration as they pick up the first point here. London Spitfire now in the lead.
Such a great kill on Jonak, though. No transcendence for him, only reincarnation. They needed that transcend to be able to hold the point. I thought maybe the Sombra was going to be the one to go after him, as she's the natural predator of Zenyatta, but one headshot to the dome on Zen. You know, Zen's got very predictable movement, doesn't have a wobble because he floats, that he's pretty easy to headshot there. I also remember the bad old days where he had 150 health, and he was very easy to body shot as well.
Well, the thing, like, what you're talking about as well is just Widow on land, so quick. There's a clean example, right? It's just instant with the flick. You got guys with this mechanical skill, and they just make magic happen when they have Widow and a big target like that to work with.
All right, so we are going to move over to Lighthouse here. We've got no Widows on the field, no Pharahs on the field either. Both teams running interesting, different variations of comps.
He's got Pine on the Genji now. Doing a good job of charging up his Dragon Blade, or at least at the start here. He is connecting Saviobi as well, and Jonak will be the one to start things off strong here for New York Excel. They really need to hang in here because I think that all of us want to see McCree on the murder hole for New York Excel.
Saviobi gets to the back line, takes down Hago. That is huge. That's so much damage and healing now done. You see that London is on the retreat because of it. I was a little surprised that Birdring didn't take this angle earlier while the rest of his team pushed below, but he doesn't want to get dove on and put himself in a 1v2. So he was hoping his team could win that, and then he would take the angle, but too late. The dive comes in. Birdring sent back to spawn in a beautiful stagger.
Really delaying things, and now Saviobi, he's the one who can kind of set things up here for his team. He's got that pulse. Decides to back off for now as they will regroup. London Spitfire moving back into it. Prophet's got the pulse as well, and they're moving together as a unit here. Going to be the wrecking ball approach here from London Spitfire.
Jester's all alone though when they find him. I imagine that they're going to try to get this stick. No, actually just decides to let him go and live another day.
Positional here from Saviobi.
Yeah, he's biding his time to look for a bigger stick. I think he wants to save it for the supports.
Yeah, now he's in the back line, and London know it, and there you go, dives right in. Saviobi knows he can get out of here, out of harm's way as well. Goes for the big stick, not going to find it. Instead, it's Prophet blowing Jonak up into spare parts, and now Saviobi has to get back over here, out into the open to allow for his healers to perhaps keep him alive.
Wasn't quite over, but that Pine did go down. Now it's a 6v4 on the point, and they should be just a matter of cleanup and delay for New York right now. Ano has gone so well on this Lucio. I'm so impressed by him. He will eventually fall 65% on the status ticker for New York.
It's just the deeps from Mano, but not quite. Closer is just a little bit ahead in terms of damage dealt, but in terms of healing, they're both on top of it.
Well, Pine's got his blade ready. You can blade, barrier, or transcend. Transcend a little bit of a limiting factor with the blade. You have to keep up with your Genji. I think blade and barrier work so well together. We've yet to really see it utilized.
Oh, yeah, the reflect right in. Hoping for the missiles, perhaps. Brian playing on the edge here. He will be able to get back over here with Jonak, but that is a juicy target. He's down to half HP. Eventually does get topped up, however. And now he's found his target. Hagopun out in the open. Trance has been forced. Pine, he gets exactly what he was hoping for. Now he knows that there's nothing to stop his blade from reaping complete and utter havoc. And here we go. Fury chopped. There's the follow-up. Looking for more, and Hagopun gets reflected. Pine only going to get the 2, but still the damage is done. In New York Excel, they will flip it.
Beautiful force into the early transcend. It was just a countdown clock until that blade was coming out. He gets the nice kills and the deflect. Moreover, he forced Birdring to use his tactical visor, which is a decent answer to a blading Genji. That's not going to be in there. Birdring is going to switch to the McCree to try to deal with Pine. Yeah, kind of a role reversal here.
Oh, I love it. No, doesn't go for the stick, but still. Right, and there still finds the kill on Hagopun. Why not, Saviobi? Why not? And he's still got his pulse as well. They can chase him further back. 90% now. Poor New York Excel. They're within striking distance of taking this to a 3rd point.
This is almost impossible now for London. They just lost everybody. There's going to be no one here to really be able to contest in any meaningful way.
Meaningful.
Yeah.
There's always Prophet.
Yes, but you can contest, but he's going to be 1v4. Actually, T-Max Meko. All right then, Prophet. Prove me wrong. I'll take it.
Wait, he's still alive.
Yeah, they're able to get back in here, and both tanks are now out of this mix. Prophet saving the day. A beautiful stick on the closer, though, as Yobi equalizes.
That could make the difference. Prophet still dancing. It's going to be the dual mono-a-mono. And already Prophet finding the one-on-mono. This is big. Yobi is gone. Unbelievable.
All right. I've learned my lesson. I think I've called 2 fights short this entire set. These two teams I cannot do it with because both these teams will contest every bit of the way, and then they've just got miracles in their pockets for days. I don't know what wishing well they frequent, but I want to go there.
I do too, and I want them to buy lottery tickets for me. I want them to make my investments. I mean, this is unbelievable. Prophet just bringing his team back into the fight. Both of these Tracers really putting on a world-class performance here. And there we go, Mono gets pounded into the wall. Some modern art for you there, care of gesture. And now things are gonna get a bit dicey here for New York Excel. They're the ones who are under the gun. 10% left here for London Spitfire to close it out. Keep in mind, London Spitfire, they're already up 1-0 in the points.
London with a huge ult advantage. Jonak should be able to get to his Transcend, and then the Dragon Blade should also be available for Pine. Janus will be able to Primal Rage onto the point and stall it out. As long as he doesn't go down before that, we'll get the Primal Rage off.
We'll get the Primal Rage off. We had Meko going for the self-destruct as well. No kill, and Meko gets caught. Jonak is gone. Pine doing the best that he can. He has got a Dragon Blade, but he's so low on HP. If he dies now, it is over. Goes leaping into the fray. Chan is desperate to keep it alive here, but this is pretty much it. Save Yobi trying for the heroics, and that is going to be it. London Spitfire will win yet again, 3-2 over the New York Excel.
These matches could not be closer. It all comes down to single clips, single pulse bombs. Jonak killed again with Transcend on the last 2 stages of Ilios. That's rough. He's going to be rethinking that. I just want to watch London and New York play every day, all day, forever. That's all I want. That is all I want in the world. Is that too much to ask?
Yes, please. Unbelievable. Prophet, man. This is going to be a tough one, Hex, because you and I are going to have to do players of the day.
Yeah.
I think we're a bit spoiled right now. Who do we pick? This is going to be brutal.
If you like Tracer play, then just rewatch this VOD constantly.
Absolutely.
Because not only we talk so much about SBB, and rightfully so, but Prophet, maybe we overlooked him a little bit there. What a clutch at the end. In no meaningful way, unless you're Prophet. He faced a 4v1 and then brought it back and brought time enough for his team to come back and win that stage.
That's what's so cool about it. Li Jiang, same thing. Where they managed to get, it was Yobi who saved New York in that control point map and took it further, kept his team in it. Here it's Prophet ending it. I love it, man. The Tracers, so fantastically good. I mean, both of these rosters, it's a joy to watch. I'm glad we have a full house here today to enjoy it with us, and everybody online as well. Pretty sure now, however, that we do have Zoe on the floor right now with Prophet for an interview.
We do indeed. Thank you so much, guys. Please give it out for the London Spitfire and, of course, Prophet joining me here for a quick word. They did it again. Another rematch, another victory. What do you guys think is giving them the edge once more?
프로핏 선수 다시 한번 우승을 축하드립니다. 뉴욕 팀을 상대로 2번 연속 우승을 가져가셨는데 우승 소감 부탁드립니다.
우승이요? 승리소. 일단 어제 휴스턴 팀한테 졌었는데 오늘 뉴욕이라는 강팀 상대로 이겨서 매우 기분이 좋아요.
We dropped a game yesterday to Houston, and that didn't really feel like that good. But today we won against New York, who is probably one of the best teams, and I feel it's really good.
Yeah, that's got to get that confidence back for you and the team. Now, in a recent interview, Prophet, you said that you want to work on your skills on other heroes, not just Tracer. If we're looking back at stage 1, we did see you on a variety of different heroes, so I would like to hear it from you. Which heroes are you looking to focus on in stage 2?
프로핏 선수 예전 인터뷰에서 트레이서 말고 다른 영웅도 선보이고 싶다, 연습을 많이 하고 싶다라는 말씀하신 적이 있는데 스테이지 2에서는 어떤 영웅들을 선보이고 싶으신가요?
타라나 겐지, 리퍼 정도 그냥 연습하고 있어요.
Yeah, I've been practicing Pharah, Reaper, and Genji.
Yeah, Genji we already got to enjoy in your game against Houston, and that looked really solid. Now, can't wait to see what more you and your team have in store for us. Thank you so much, Prophet, and we are heading back to the desk to break down the action of the last game.
Thank you so much, Blizzard Arena. One more time for the London Spitfire. They walk away with another win, a Game 5 to get the job done. Here to talk about all the action, I'm Puckett. I got the desk. It's the young Sideshow, aka Punch Boy, alongside the giant Reinforce. And let's talk about the action. As we came into the half, it was all tied up 1-1. Game 3 comes up, it's Kings Row. We expected a lot of tanks. We saw some quad tanks in the opening attack. As the games played out, though, there was a lot of micro plays that changed up this game in general.
Yeah, it seemed very individual, actually, across the whole scope of this match. There were a lot of huge individual plays coming out from Prophet, from Birdring. Sabiobi had some unbelievable moments, particularly on Li Jiang when they went over there. And so I feel like both of these teams have such a crazy rivalry and such stacked rosters that every time they play, it's going to be a joy to watch.
Johnny, what were you looking forward to in the second half, and what did you see?
Well, I was looking forward to New York perhaps throwing a bit of a curveball towards London Spitfire, because I still think that London Spitfire, they rely too much on their individual skill, and that's what we saw. They won Gibraltar because of Birdring's Widowmaker, and they won Ilios because of Prophet's amazing Tracer, of course. But when you play Kings Row and they can't really play the Reinhardt Zarya, and you see New York, I mean, flexing all over the place, I still think that London Spitfire are a bit inconsistent, and so I honestly thought that New York would win this series based on the fact that they like to flex to the other heroes.
And that's kind of mental when they had Mano in instead of Arc as well. That's really unexpected. Coming into this, we definitely expected New York XL to be playing at a lower level because they have one of their callers, one of the big guys behind in their support line. And if they don't have him, where are they going to go? Well, it looks like their coordination was still pretty good, and their individual skill didn't take a knock at all. So I think this is really promising for NY.
Yeah, your main tank playing pretty well on supports. Now, we do have a few moments that we want to walk you through. This first one's a telestration from Sideshow, and we saw this moment. It was stage 2 of Kings Row, New York going up against London in a big fight. And what are we about to keep our focus on here, Sideshow?
Okay, so the guy that you want to keep your eye out for here is Gesture. He's been hiding down here in, is that the fish and chip shop or something? And he's going to get this Zarya bubble and go for a sneaky Earth Shatter. And he's aiming for these guys here from the NYXL, their backline of Mano and Jonak. He's looking to take him out with an Earth Shatter and clean up this fight completely. But what we are looking for is the peel. So Jonak here on the Zenyatta is going to Transcendence and Body Block. And then also you have some crazy concussion mines coming over the top and blasting Gesture away. And that's coming out from Libero. So I'm going to play this in slow motion for you to see how it works out. And then we'll play it again at high speed to see how fast these adaptations came. So boom, Earth Shatter, Mano, Meko on the floor. Jonak gets in front of him to Body Block and actually takes the pin. And the concussion mine comes down at the same time. So let's rewind this and see how fast it actually happened, because Gesture was behind them before they even realized. They had no clue he was there. And so we play this through. The support line have milliseconds to adapt. Jonak jumps in front, takes the bullet. Get down, Mr. President! And then the concussion mine blasts him away.
We showed you so many Zenyatta kills. That is a top tier Zenyatta play.
Yeah.
Just thinking ahead, making sure that you're going to take one for your team. New York backed out of that and eventually lost the fight, though, to London. But London on Game 3, they screwed up big. Let's take a look at the final moments. Johnny, this isn't the first C9 we've seen from the Spitfire.
I mean, I'm looking forward to this Insights powered by C9 that we love to see so much, of course. I mean, this is a huge mistake, but it keeps happening. And I think that two teams, they have different sort of ambitions in the overtime, of course. One team is all about staying on the payload, I mean, putting 4 or 5 members on top of it. And then you have some teams that want to get greedy and they want to find the picks and they want to step away from the payload. And that's what London Spitfire are doing right here. And so you can see that they're just for a minute are stepping away because of a brilliant Diva bomb by Meko, by the way. But yeah, they step up the payload and it results in what we like to call a C9, and you hate to see it, really.
And there's how you do it properly. You bring out a Pharah there for the second stage, and you use your barrage to lock it down. So now New York has made it a match. We're going into map 4. Well, you watched it. London was able to win it. That forces a Game 5, and this is where we all get excited. You're seeing control. It's all about the individual skill. Yes, teamwork is needed as well, but the individual's able to shine. It all started with some sniper as well as Tracer play.
I mean, Birdring is so good. Like, Birdring, is he the best DPS in the league, Sideshow? I think he's making a good case for it right here.
Pretty possible. It's weird as well because you'd also put Prophet up there for potentially the best DPS in the league, and they have both of them playing together. This is an overpowered DPS.
Yeah,
someone needs to nerf London.
So can someone explain to me what happened in the second half? Because New York was in control, right? It looked like they were going to force a third round. Instead, it's London comes back, steals that game 5. How'd they do it?
I think it comes down a lot to Pine, actually, because I think that the stage to win for the New York Excelsior was the Ruin stage, because you have to rely on Pine's Widowmaker. But New York Excelsior, they have a big problem because Libero can't play the Widowmaker, and so they're forced to swap in Pine, of course, but he can't really play the Genji, and so you're forced into weird scenarios where you're trying to force things too much. And I mean, when Pine isn't popping off on McCree and Widowmaker, I mean, New York is looking like a mid-table team, so...
Wow.
Mid-table, all right.
They call Pine the big boss, right? And whenever you play video games, the big boss at the end has always got very glaring weaknesses, because then you're able to take him down. All you have to do is wait for the big boss to slip up, and then you sneak your way in there. So I feel like this is with Pine. He either plays a little too aggressively at times, or he plays such an individual style that he just can't hit his shots sometimes. So if Pine's not on, NYXL are looking a bit lackluster. I got to agree.
Pine was a little bit off, but our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP, was on. And it is the guy that Johnny just said is in contention for best DPS in the league.
I mean, he is so good. And I mean, they're trying to find some consistency here. We talked about in the pre-game that London Spitfire, I mean, they have some consistency issues, of course. They win some games and they lose some games based on their individual skill. But I think they're trying to grasp at something here, putting Birdring on a more consistent flex role and then Prophet on the Tracer pretty much full time from here out. So Birdring is the star player for the London Spitfire team. And if London Spitfire wants to be the #1 team in the league, Birdring is your guy.
I like that call. We'll see what he can do for London moving forward. Birdring is our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Before we go, though, I want to hit it one more time, and let's settle this on the desk. If Arc was in the lineup, if you have Mono playing his tank role, does New York win today?
I think they probably do. Given how close it was here and the fact that they can put Mano in and they still look pretty coordinated, I saw a couple of sloppy plays coming out from London. I think NYXL steal that.
Johnny?
Pine didn't turn up at all, and that was a deciding factor. It wouldn't have mattered.
I like it. We're split 50-50 on the desk, and that's where we're going to leave it for now. That is just the first match of the day, though. When we come back, we get another look at the field. They're taking on the Gladiators. You don't want to miss it.